Hello everyone, this is Farah here. Welcome to LaneSmash! Finals, right, give me 1 second, I'm just tweaking some settings here. Jolly, why don't you say hello?
Evening everybody. Is that all you want me to say?
Entirely up to you, I'll see you in a couple of hours then, right? Okay, so, we're streaming, we're live. We were having some technical issues known as, I don't know why, but the graphics card was falling out with OBS. OBS seems to be running now. Audio's running now, the game is running now. I'm in game and I'm showing this particular base. We'll do some audio checks here, so anyone in chat can say whether or not I'm too loud or Jolly's too quiet. That'll be great. The match will start in 23 minutes, and we're hoping that Mr. Robertino will get the map set up, otherwise I'll have to go do it. So, Jolly, why don't you tell us who is playing today?
Yeah, so if you haven't been watching any of the previous matches in this LaneSmash tournament, tonight we're going to have Hydra from Cobalt against CoGu, which is a combination of the guys from CoGu and CSG from Miller. So we're going to see an NC vs matchup. Which is cool because that means that they're both playing their sort of primary live server factions. We're good to see.
Now, you and I have some history with this lane, don't we?
I didn't think you'd bring it up, Farah, but yes, we do.
Why not? It's perfect. So today we are in Amrish, and the map isn't perfectly set up yet, so we'll wait and see. But Chimney Rock will be neutral, and we're fighting between Heoka Tech Plant and Tumis Tech Plant. And that is, if anyone can remember the days of Comclash, this is where any elite played mercenaries, isn't it?
Great days, Farah. Great days.
The days gone by. Those were the days where you actually had 3 sets of resources. You had your infantry, ground, and vehicles, and the meta was completely different from what we've got today. So, I guess, assuming everything is running fine, I'll just do a little lane overview, shall we? If you're attacking from the south, and I don't exactly know who's attacking from the south just right now, but you begin from the external hex of your home base. So the tech plants are the home bases. That's actually going to make air pools a difficulty, isn't it? Jolly.
Sorry, I just had your Twitch streaming in the background there, so I've just turned it off. I was hearing you twice.
I hear it all the time. Well, we're talking about the lane right today. So the air terminals are going to be somewhat restrictive because Tech Plant air terminals are all the way up on their upper section. So do you give your air guys their own squad, do you give them a beacon, and that way they can just drop in and immediately get a terminal? And it's much easier to grief the terminals because they're so up and out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, typically that's what I would expect to see. I would definitely expect to see air squads separated into their own squad with their own beacon, allowing pilots to come straight down on top of the tech plant for a quick repull rather than running from the spawns. So yeah, typically Charlie squad seems to be favoured by most of these outfits or teams for their air squad, so we'll see if that's the case again, but I would be very, very surprised to not see them as their own separate entity.
So we'll delve straight into this, guys. The neutral base here is Chimney Rock, and I could make this neutral. And this map, this lane, this kind of format heavily, would you agree with me, heavily favours the south?
Yes.
And the reason for that is the approaches, guys. So if I zoom up here and come up to high ground so we can see the approaches. The starting team from the south starts where my mouse is struggling over here, and then way over to the top right hand corner is where the opposite team starts from the tech plant in the north. The driving approach is much easier coming in from these multiple directions, coming from the road, coming from the hillside, and you get access to the base. And then on top of that, when you actually zoom into the base, we can see that you can drive sunders in and you get multipliers onto the capture point building itself. It means that the south has a huge advantage because the north has to drive along the road and then expose its flank by going into the base, or approach from the north and then head to what is effectively the east, head south, but they still can't get technically into the base. You can drive sunders in here where the mouse is, but you're exposed, infantry's exposed, so we could see different opening play strategies from the teams here. And that's another thing I want to talk to you about, Jolly. Both teams here have got relatively strong air. We would agree with that, right? And we've seen Hydra do good combined arms play, and then last game we saw CoGu step up to the plate and bring a bunch more tanks and vehicles. What kind of compositions do you think you'll see today from the beginning play?
It's difficult to say. I'm constantly surprised. I mean, the meta seems to have shifted from when we used to play competitive 24v24, when really it was almost a banker that the opener was going to be heavy on the air, heavy on the ESFs, maybe the odd lib, and a gal floating around for respawns and stuff.
Well, a lot's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of Sunday trains these days. Obviously, MBTs are a big factor. I personally would still quite like to see. I think that this lane does favour air a lot more than some of the other lanes that have been played. So I would personally still like to see a reasonable ESF presence, and by that I mean more than just their dedicated air dudes. Putting me on the spot, I probably would go with a fairly even split on maybe a dozen ESFs and the rest on the ground with some Sundays. Whether or not we'll see that, I don't know. I suspect we might see a few more ground vehicles than I would typically like to see.
Right, so to give it an impression, in the past you had 3 different sets of resources. You didn't just have nanites, which meant it made sense to use your air resources while
on all call, can someone just send me a message on TeamSpeak that you can hear me, please? Thank you.
Yes, we can hear you, Robert. Go away. So you had 3 different resource types, whereas now you have 1 resource type. Sunders are much cheaper now with nanites. Galaxies now have proxy repair, which means they can be far more durable.
Okay, guys, the constant is basically set up, so feel free to move over to Amerish and start pulling
Remind
vehicles.
me to mute his backside. Okay, so as you're saying, you've got proxy rep in Galaxies, and obviously, but also because of the single resource pool now, it's much more efficient at the beginning to make your initial pool. Now, what is that? What is the most flexible, versatile thing that you can do? Well, for most people, it's probably a heavy tank with a secondary gun option. That's what Info did. Or you could go with a max and a max drop with a Galaxy. Or as you were saying, Jolly, going heavy air. Now, here's a crazy theory with you, right? The reason you pick the vehicle that you pick and the team composition that you pick is because that is the skill base that you have. So if you have a couple of guys who are good at flying, they fly. You've got a couple of guys who are good at tanks, they tanks. What if you had 12 Liberator pilots? Could you justify going 10 or 12 ESS with 2 proxy rep Galaxies and 10 to 12 Liberators? Is that powerful, or is that just really dumb? Because you do need a ground vehicle presence, don't you, to get spawn options?
Yeah, it's it's one
of
those
impressive.
Questions, isn't it? That until you've actually tried it, you'll never know whether it's powerful or stupid. And
I was tempted
factored
in the semi-finals.
Obviously, it depends what the other guys are doing on the flip side as well.
Yeah.
If they
in the semi-finals, right? When Info played CoGu, I was highly tempted as the sortition for the Info people to say, well, they've seen us play tanks 3 times now on previous ones, and they're going to expect us to do it again. And sure enough, CoGu did come with a whole bunch of armor, and I was like, how amazing would it be if we just YOLO'd in with 12 Liberators?
Do you think we'll see backup vehicles at the home bases? I'm a bit surprised I haven't seen much of that, to be honest. As in other words, everyone pulling a tank and then half the drivers get...
No, because you're too far away. It's inefficient drive times. Loss of air control means you can get sniped from thing. If you're going to move up, you're going to move up hard. If this is the final setup and the VS is in the south, that means CoGu has an advantage in the first half. Which, if I check the clock, we should be about 15 minutes till start. So I'd say CoGu has the advantage here in the first half. And obviously, on the halftime, we'll flip over, and then Hydra has the advantage. So they really need to establish themselves. They need to get the neutral base of Chimney Rock and establish themselves. And then I wonder how much they've been training and practicing for this, because one of the strengths of CoGu, we noticed, is that they have a good air group, and they have a few guys who stay in the vehicles and are good with getting ground control, vehicle control. And then fundamentally, they have at least 12 guys, if not more, who are really well versed in their infantry play and their max play. And because they're so good, it forces the enemy team to send more numbers to deal with it, which means they suffer elsewhere in the air or the ground, and that means Kogu's more flexible moving around. Hydra, however, I'm not too keen. I mean, have you watched a couple of Hydra games this season?
I actually casted it might even have been the very first game of the tournament between these two very sides on Indar that obviously went to extra time and ended up 0-0 after full time. So we went to the tower on Indar, and Hydra won, but it was a very, very close game, which is extremely relevant for tonight because obviously same 2 teams, different lane, but it was so close, the game. Both teams got caps down to sort of sub 5 seconds on their opponent's bases and got resecured or rescued at the very last second. So clearly very evenly matched. So yes, Outcast, I think that's the only Hydra game I did do. They were impressive.
Well, you're breaking up again. So yeah, again today, if you guys are watching the stream right now, obviously you are because you're hearing me right now. You'll see that I'm messing around with the setup I've been doing recently. We're broadcasting today at 1080. The standard kind of broadcasting aspect ratio. However, the game is being displayed on a 1440, 3440 but 1440 resolution, and it's been squeezed in. So the little black bars on the top and the bottom will, I don't know, fill up with some interesting stuff. If you don't like it, let us know in the chat and we'll stop doing it, or I'll stop doing it since I'm the only one who does it. If you like the extra wide perspective ratio, aspect ratio, because hey, we get to see both tech plants at the same time, we see more of the map and things aren't too kind of small and blotchy, let us know and I'll keep doing it. It's really just so you guys get a good viewpoint. Right, now, with regards to the opening play here, I think CoGu are going to repeat the same thing. I think you're going to have about 10 ESFs with 2 Proxy Warp Galaxies. Maybe Proxy Warp Galaxies, maybe not. Proxy Warp Galaxies are fantastic damage sponges. And if you bring ground vehicles like tanks, especially from the south, I'd expect like maybe 4 or 6 Sundras, because you can dump them into Chimney Rock, you get your multipliers, you can have your maxes if you need to by deploying on the outskirts of the base or before you get into the base, and then you use your tanks to keep the enemy at bay, keep them from coming at you, and your air force to prevent yourself being bombed, right? That's the play I see from CoGu. What do you think?
It's difficult to disagree with it, really. I mean, it lacks a bit of finesse. Sunday trains are, the king of cheese, really. But I think you're right. I think we'll see a pretty generous spread of stuff across ground vehicles. Obviously, there'll be a bunch of Sundays coming through. There'll definitely be some ESFs. So it'll be interesting to see if either side actually brings the Gal. Because I don't really see them filling it in any way, unless they're looking at a desperate rush in on the point. But
so, like, for example, if you were the Galaxy from CoGu, it would be effective to fly in and park on the south side of the base, near the vehicle bay type of thing. The single pilot can land it. It's got proxy rep. You've got 2 Galaxies. It can provide repair support, so the Sunders can drive into the A point for your vehicles that don't go into the A point and your aircraft to fall back on. Plus, the pilot can use the gun. It's like a really big daddy Sunder, right? And then the added benefit is your squad can spawn into it, and then on top of that, it's mobility and it's free because, at the very beginning, your first vehicle is free, right? So why not? Now, speaking of which, if you were CoGu, would you destroy the vehicle terminal? Too much of a risk. You've got the advantage coming from the south, right?
Yes, I think I would. I mean, they're closest in on the base, so whether or not, they're so much closer, it'll be interesting to see if they try and pop a vehicle or two out of it before they take it down. But I think that's the percentage play. That you've got your ground vehicles coming from much closer than theirs, so you kind of nullify that and make honours even and make sure that your reinforcements from your home base can get there quicker, and there's no danger of them being able to pull quickly from the base itself.
And so let's flip that from the north now, okay? You are the northern team, and in this particular instance, in the first half, guys, which, if anyone's new to this format, it's half-hour games and then 15-minute halftime. You are Hydra coming from the north, and specifically you're the new conglomerate. You're at a disadvantage with Chimney Rock. What do you do here? Like, how would you apply pressure to push in to get the base?
I think you have to be prepared off your opener for the fact that you're going to get to the base second. So, I'm expecting quite a lot of armour from the NC from this side of the map, and more of a sort of slow grind, really. Obviously, with the way the new... Yeah, I think so. Obviously, with the way the new capture mechanics work, you do need to be careful. It's not a huge amount of time.
Hey guys, this is Rob on all call, roughly 9 minutes until match start.
Yeah, that's correct. So, my counter to that would be, if this was me and I was theory crafting this, I know that we're starting from the outskirts of Ryoka Tech Plant, and we'll have an Air Force and we'll have some Galaxies and that type of thing. I might, if I'm being boring and cheesy, I might double down. I might actually go with 10 Vanguards and be hyper aggressive. The intention here being that rather than messing around on the eastern flank of Chimney Rock and then coming in, if I have 10 Vanguards, they're extremely tanky, they got shields, you back it up with 2 proxy reps, or maybe 8 Vanguards and 4 proxy reps, so you can deploy multiple outside, or maybe you don't need that, maybe you only take 2 proxy reps because you've got 2 Galaxies that can also act as proxy rep. I would just travel down the road with as many abreast on the line as possible, so maybe 3 or 4 abreast, and then just push into Chimney Rock and absolutely smash. You don't stop, you don't wait for go, you push right up to the crossroads where the bridge is.
Yeah, I mean, that's
kill off anything, and then you rotate into the base and kill it off, because you steal the base at the end, so you're not going to be there first. So the first 2-3 minutes aren't really going to matter. It's whether or not the CoGu team can stop that push and or hold onto the capture point long enough if they lose their vehicles. But if you're coming from the north, I think you just need to play hard, heavy, and just attack.
Yeah, I mean, the key is for the ground vehicles to get past this little sort of spit of rock at Chimney Rock that sort of points out towards the ammo resupply tower. You know, once you've committed sort of into this little valley past the big Chimney Rock on the right, on the left, you've really got to commit heavily and try and get past this whole spit of rock and round. Yeah. It's very easy to get trapped in this little gully and or get forced then round the back of the Chimney Rock to the left side, which is much easier to deal with, really.
Okay, so a little warning, guys. Just before we started the stream today, I had 2 crashes. So I'm the only streamer today, so what could go wrong? I do apologize if anything goes wrong, and I'll get it back up and running as quick as I can. Right now we seem to be stable. We've got about 7 minutes until the start. I'm not necessarily going to go to the bases anymore because the teams will have pulled their vehicles and we don't want to show the composition on stream yet until the game actually goes live. But in terms of Chimney Rock, if you capture Chimney Rock from the south, and you want to attack Hyoka Chemical Labs, Hyoka's got those energy bridges, and it's got the approaches to the kind of bridges. You can drive vehicles and multipliers into around the capture building, but it's one of those things where good ground control and good vehicle control can somewhat limit the enemy, the defenders coming from the spawn room, but you can still come underground. So that's quite a tricky base to take. Do you have any kind of thoughts on how was the best idea maybe to push into Chemical coming from the south?
Sorry, pushing into Chemical from the south, or
yeah, Hyoka Chemical from the south.
I expect really. I mean, trying to force vehicles over the bridge, it can work, but the problem is you need to be locking down this bridge terminal so that the bridge remains in your favour for really the whole time. Otherwise, there's a risk, even if you force the vehicles over, if you then lose the bridge behind you,
you could maybe make use of the vehicle terminal, but otherwise you need to kill it off. You can't let the enemy spawn lots of vehicles, can you?
I mean, to be honest, I would expect to see if we get to this stage, Sundays across the Horseshoe of Water on these 2 little footbridges that come across, rather than a sort of gamble on trying to get across these vehicle bridges. As I said, it's just dangerous, really. You can find yourself getting cut off. All you need to do is lose this bridge terminal, and whatever vehicles you have forced over become extremely vulnerable. So, we've got to remember, obviously, nanites and all of that sort of stuff, so people should be reluctant to be just throwing vehicles and resources away.
Well, it'll be interesting. I would say that while Hyoka Chemical might be slightly harder to attack than a standard base, Tuma Skylance Battery is actually a fun base to attack. You can actually get many things up here, and the garage is the obvious location in the northeast side, but you can actually get Sunders in up the staircases and then up into the upper plateau so that it can't be ganked by vehicles doing a drive-by of the Sunder garage, which we might be able to show.
Yeah, it is quite a good Sunday bay though, this one.
And that allows approach to the Skylines, but that's assuming, of course, you don't get bombed. If at any time that you lose ground control, or and you can be bombarded by lightning, or the enemy is just free to close air support on you, you are exposed by open runs into the capture building and the exposed roofs as well. So air control, partially, it's not all powerful, but it is important for Skylance. Again, Hyoka Chemical is open, except once you get into the Tetris double building where the capture point is, you don't have to worry about being bombed necessarily, but you do worry about spawns and logistics, and maxes could play a big impact on that particular thing. Tech plants themselves, I don't honestly see that happening. 7 minutes and a 30-minute base time, and you have to go through the neutral on the other ones. At best, we'll definitely see the neutral base flipping, and then after that, it's really dependent on the caliber of the team whether or not they can push onto the enemy's next base, or whether or not Chimney Rock will counter flip, as we have seen in previous games, especially the Info one with CoGu, that Info took the neutral base and then CoGu immediately took it back. So Chimney Rock could flip back a couple of times here. We just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, tank mines are crucial on this base. I'll be interested to see if there's any brave engineers trying to get them out before the initial neutral phase is concluded and somebody actually owns it. But certainly once it is owned, I would expect to see...
Okay, guys, this is Rob on all call. 3 minutes until match start. 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'd expect to see these channels leading to the capture point full of tank mines.
That's a thing, though. Tank mines are expensive. I mean, it's all about nanite efficiency. You'll see that, like, guys, when we play here, when you get to near the half-time, the game tends to kind of wind down because people are trying to recharge for the second half. If you can force the enemy into a disadvantaged situation where they have to burn a lot of resources, they will pay for it in the latter half of the round, where you can just keep the tempo up because you're being efficient. You're not losing your maxes, you're not losing your vehicles, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I still think there's some value in it. I mean, I agree that the resources have changed somewhat, but the format has also changed slightly. The rounds are much shorter now. You are also allowed to pre-pull vehicles, which in the last series of LaneSmash was not allowed. You had to actually wait for the terminal. This is Rob on all
call. 2 minutes until match start. 2 minutes.
Do you think he'll actually call the start this time as opposed to just saying, go?
Well, we'll see. So there are some changes to the format that do mean that resources... they do last deeper into the game because the games are shorter. And as I said, the fact that you can pre-pull stuff off the opener is also a big resource gain. So I would still expect to see tank mines here, especially from the team that does win this base, because at that stage you're then 1-0 or 2, whatever it is, up.
Yeah.
You're up in the game,
right,
and
so
the key thing at that point is to not lose the base you've taken.
We're sub 2 minutes, right? So stream can't see the setup. So I'm going to have a quick look at the team setups now, because the stream won't see that by the time the game actually goes. Right, so the Hydra team, 3 Vanguards, 1 Proxy Rep Sunder that can see, a bunch of ESFs. They got 1 Galaxy and a whole bunch of extra ESFs. They're going kind of air heavy here with a single Gal.
This is Rob on all call. 1 minute until match start.
That's interesting.
Now,
Only 3 Vanguards.
Same with CoGu. I reckon I'm seeing at least a dozen ESFs here, probably a few more. 3 Mag Riders, 1 Sunderer.
Wow, this is the same. Single Sunderer, but this one's different. This one's not a proxy rep. This is a stealth deploy, and it's got so you've got 3 Mag Riders, no proxy rep support. It's going to be interesting how this goes. It's very light on the heavy vehicles. So if you had 10 Vanguards here and you totally went with it, I wonder whether or not you could punch through this CoGu force and take the point. It's to be seen whether or not they get on the point and then pull maxes and use the AV to stop. So I guess here we go. Less than 60 seconds. Come on, Rob.
Now, I believe that...
this is Rob on all call. 15 seconds remaining until the match.
I believe that CoGu are going to try MCY's tactic and hack this bridge as well at Heyoka Chemical and try and slow down the NC.
You think? All right,
yeah.
I'll watch that.
I believe...
It's a big light.
Plan,
1, go.
We'll
all right, we are on match start, guys. Here we go. So the approach from the south...
and we do have an ESF darting off towards this hack on the bridge.
Yep, see him.
He is going to try this. Now, where are the NC vehicles? This
Hydra
is going to be close. This is going to be close.
Oh, he's AVing it. Wow.
Oh, he's not quick enough. No. Could have made it work, but didn't quite get it right. No, he didn't bail in the right spot.
Oh, he's there now, but he's hacking it now, but it's too late.
Yeah, unlucky.
Sunder might have an issue, but the Vanguards are moving up without their proxy rep support. Going back to the base, we did see an NC Hydra person. He took out the vehicle terminal, so they didn't want CoGu getting advantage of it either.
Big ESF fight here. Charlie squad from the VS are holding off here. They're just waiting to see what happens before they engage fully. They've thrown away their Alpha ESFs, basically, the VS, and they're trying to keep their Charlie squad, which is their
it's kind of like a long standoff. What's got me interested is that there are no twin proxy rep galaxies. There's no, like, big vehicle to
I did see... Is there an NC Gal? I did see one before the match started.
So the VS Galaxy's actually landed way off in the distance, and there is an NC one, but I don't see it in the sky, and that's what I'm getting at. If you have a proxy rep Gal, twin proxy rep Gal, Okay, it's taking 2 people away, but the fact is you have that huge advantage of regenerative power.
Okay, so the point is now blue.
Alright, we see that the NC Sunder from Hydra is moving up. The Vanguards have actually pushed up, and they've denied the push. I don't know what happened to the Mag Riders, but CoGu is slow. They didn't get here in time. They could have charged straight in, and they haven't. And they're being repulsed now by this
They're
Hydra
still
force.
very air heavy, the VS. There's still all of their Charlie squad just quite happily up here, quite high. Seems like no one really wants to die in the air.
Harassers, okay, single man harassers. You know what? I wonder about the opening play from both teams. In my strategic eye, both teams' opening plays I feel are poor and weak.
It's very standoffish in the air, but I think the VSR will win the air whenever they decide that they actually want it.
Okay, so we got twin proxy reps, Vanu Sovereignty, CoGu Sunders, moving off to the high ground where the equipment terminal is. Sorry, the vehicle terminal. But they're leaving their Mag Rider behind who's trying to fight... Mag Rider flank from behind of the Vanguard. Single guy, though. Where's the extra support? I mean, they're not actually supposed to fight
there's a VS Mag Rider behind the NC here.
Yep, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
He's taking out the Sunder. The Vanguards haven't really paid attention here.
Right, so 2 minutes to go on this neutral base, so at this stage, if I was the VS, I would be starting to say to my guys, we need to start thinking about the point a little bit. Not
well, the
desperately,
NC's got,
but
what,
we
2
do
maxes
need to
and a
start
Sunder outside as a
gravitating.
multiplier? Let's have a look at the cap point, guys. We got, the twin, 1 proxy rep, 1 blockade. The air group from the NC is still up there. There's still like a long standoff. If we go into the capture point itself, we got basic support, 2 medics, 2 maxes, don't see any engineers.
2 VS spawn points now behind the Chimney Rock, outside the horseshoe.
Oh, lightning reinforcements incoming.
Right, Despa's on local chat now, so you know it's getting to the time to push. Push.
Well, they're trying to use their Air Force with Hornets to take care of the Sunders, but it's getting desperate. Minute 10? I don't see CoGu at all right now. Oh wait, here we go.
Still got all of their Charlie up.
So the max is bunny hopping up and over.
5 maxes now in the Alpha squad for CoGu, and here they come. They're going to try and come straight over and bowl into the point.
Yeah, I see the triple max with the 4th max also incoming. Lightning support slightly.
Oh, here they go. This is actually looking good. They've got a VS Lightning coming as well.
50 seconds. NC, at this point, you need to all be on the point if you're nuking Conglomerate.
This is going to be VS for sure. They've got air dominance here. They're in on the point.
There's a lot of maxes. The fact is, Hydra's dropping the ball here. They had this, but they need to fall back on the point. They can't just leave the bare minimum of people. You can see this. CoGu's actually surrounding the capture point. They're going to come in from multiple directions. Here we go.
And here comes the Charlie squad just to make sure that those Reavers can't get in.
AV maxes, all AV maxes by the VS here, and they're stealing the capture point.
That was good. They were patient. They waited just for the right time. Didn't panic. And the NC are now miles back. They're on the road back to Chimney Rock.
NC were holding the 1 choke point. They weren't holding the east side, so they didn't deny the spawns from the east. But more criminally from Hydra is that they have point control down to a minute. Their entire platoon should have fallen back on this capture point. They should have been here. Tanks, Sunders, infantry, the whole works. Even the Air Force hovering around, looking over the whole base. Oh, they didn't do that.
Okay, well the
Desperate
NC are going to... the NC are going to
some maxes, some C4... Medic res on the 2-second marker. No, okay, there you go. Well done, CoGu. I'm surprised. Hydra was aggressive. They took the initiative. They pushed them back. They had the kind of standoff line, but they just weren't paying attention to the eastern flank. Now that's interesting. Where did that Sunder come from? The VS force? Did they drive all the way around?
Yeah, I mean they actually had 2 here. They actually had 2.
And that infantry then pushed into the capture point was allowed, and the Hydra let them do that. They dropped the ball there.
Right now, are they dropping tank mines? That's the question. That's what I'd be doing now.
Well, they've got themselves that deployed Sunder, and they've got their lightning reinforced at the point. The Air Force is currently, I'd say, in Hydra's favour, and Hydra also has Vanguard Sunder outside external control of the base. So, external control is...
They need to be very careful not to turtle shell here, the VS, because this is losable, this base. If,
absolutely.
If all you do is focus absolutely on defending the point.
Well, they've lost their air control. It's probably because all their flyers came in and helped on the ground. They've lost ground veer control. It's what happens next. Their adjacent Sunder on the capture point is about to be destroyed. We will have to see. Yep, Twin Vanguard, 1 proxy rep with a single man harasser, just looking at the exit vehicle bay of Chimney.
So all of Charlie is regrouping. I would anticipate we'll see Charlie squad for... We'll see the VS Air Force back in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, we can see that they've we've got some numbers going back to Skyline's battery, probably to push fuel vehicles, and they have some numbers perhaps going back to the tech plant. That's going to take a while to get fresh air. Check out, coming in from the north, twin NC proxy rep Sunders, probably going to give deploy options at Chimney Rock Depot.
This Vanguard is running a Walker.
That's totally fine. He's a single man dude, so that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a single man tank. Walker's totally fine. And we can see there is actually an AV one, so he's got AV on top.
And there's a VS Gallon here. Now, is it loaded?
Well, they don't have anybody at Heyoka Chemical, and that's mainly because the Hydra's Air Force is doing a standoff.
This Gallon, they're going to try and switch this over. They're trying the old Kansas City Shuffle. He's going to try and... He's heading for Heyoka Chemical now. They're going to try and redeploy him to
really high, flying right through the Reavers.
He's heading straight for it, though.
Is he going to be there before the NC's on Chimney Rock cap point?
He's peeling away, so I wonder if they've already lost it.
Oh, no, he's got a dropper. 1, 2, 3. 3 droppers before he gets destroyed. That's 415
No, they're losing Chimney Rock, though. It's neutral, and it is blue.
Alright, so it's too late. Yeah, and they don't even have the cap point, and then Hydra even has an emergency.
Okay, but the VS may well stamp on this straight away. They still got most of their Alpha squad here on the ground, the VS.
Well, if we see in detail, the capture point has started. However, the Vanu Sovereignty, currently not being hindered by the Hydra's Air, because Hydra's Air went off to deal with the Galaxy, is currently... Oh, wow, and actually we have a standoff from Mosquito. Check up straight high, we got 7 scythes, basically standing off. No, it's 8, sorry. The Reavers can't necessarily come in and control the kind of local ground area, which allows the VS infantry to move up unopposed. This NC armor isn't necessarily doing anything productive on the capture point, I should say. Multipliers that the Hydra had around the capture point are now down, and we see now that the first number of maxes have just made the outskirts of the building. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, there's not many NC in here either, 2 or 3. 4 maybe.
This is going to be repulsed.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be resecured by the VS in the next 20 seconds. They do still have 2 Vanguards sitting out here. But, did the VS Gal survive?
No, the VS Gal got annihilated.
Okay.
We're going to have a look at this kind of long-range air battle going on. Wow, it's some suicidal Reavers trying to make it to the capture point.
Yeah, that was poor, wasn't it?
Oh, we're just kind of watching this very high-altitude ESF standoff.
It's clearly a tactic from the VS. They've obviously decided that this is the way they want their air engagements to go.
Long range, high alt?
Yeah.
I mean, it means that the ground anti-air can't be effective, but if you want to sacrifice the high ground, if you keep the low ground with vehicles and a smaller ESF force, you can keep local control of the base. Anyway, the point is the capture point is still in the hands of Hydra, so they repulse that initial push. We can see additional beacons, people kind of YOLO flying in, and they're just clinging on to the capture point. They don't have any maxes, there's a lot of dead people, which are going to get rezzed, but the problem is, CoGu is allowing this to tick. They're allowing momentum and kind of tempo play, to fall into favor of Hydra. And if Hydra gets this back, they then have the favor in the second half if no other base goes through, and it'll be tied 1 apiece in this particular game.
Yeah, this is actually getting a bit out of control from the VS.
Additional Sunder proxy rep from the NCs coming along on the eastern flank. VS Sunder trying to drive up to the capture point here. But
yeah,
he's
1 minute to go. I think the VS will still get this, but they've made a real meal of it.
Is he going to deploy? Well, he's got infantry around. See, the engineers coming out, they're going to be forced to use... Alright, so the guy just wasted a couple of 100 nanites, didn't get anything out of it. I guess you have to be desperate.
Here come the VS now. Here they come. This should do it.
Oh, but dude, check out the Sunder for the NC on the flank. Oh wait, no, deployed VS Sunder outside the base. That has to be enough. It has to be it. There we go, with Max as well. Now the nanites are going to be about to be telling here because we've got about maybe just under 20 minutes now, 18 minutes. Careful the AV mines. You're gonna have to get rezzed on the Maxes. Yeah, so the nanites are going to start to tell. You've been burning Maxes. You've been burning kind of vehicles, whatnot. What can you do next? There's still 2 minutes 55 seconds where the NC does not have to defend Heoka Chemical at all because they are safe due to the Heoka Chemical attack. So the NC is free to regroup, reposition, and reattack without having to, defend. There's no Reavers in the air as well for Hydra. It's all
no, not a single one. Big Sunday train forming now. Here we go. Hashtag Sunday train. Got 5 Sundays leaving Heoka Chemical 6.
Here we go. I'm not entirely sure I agree with the weapon setup. They're all Walker.
Yeah, but when you've got 7...
Walker. No, but my point is that some of them are Twin Walker, which I think is flawed. If you're doing one-man Sunders, you need to have a weapon to fight the other Sunders on the road. Your walkers are useless. You need a basilisk at least, to be effective. Oh, dude, check out the mag rider by himself though, behind the big rock. He could be useful if he sticks together.
Yeah, there is a mag rider. There is a vanguard. Where did he go? The vanguard.
There he is.
Yeah,
There he is.
Yeah, he's probably going to do enough to make this mag
rider
run away.
If you're this mag rider, you're like, holy crap! Reverse! Get out of here! No, just turn an afterburner. Go, man!
All kinds of trouble, this guy.
Oh no, you're screwed. He's hiding now. That's the wrong way. Alright, so, yeah, large vehicle push still moving in.
They should
Minute
be aware.
30.
I mean, the call should have gone out, though. The VS should be aware that this is coming around
They know
the
what
back here
direction
from that
they're
mag
coming
rider
in,
driver.
Yeah.
This would be a good time now to get somebody going to the other base very quickly.
Well, you still have a minute 15. Yeah, hold this for a minute 15.
There is a VS guy here. What are you doing? Go for it, my friend. He's just outside the gen building. Alpha 11.
So as I suspected, CoGu's using an AV Max with a little bit of support from on the high ground, firing down on the vehicles. The NC's trying to basically daisy chain all of their Sunders onto the capture point, and that's a perfectly legit tactic. Someone has to get rid of the annoying Lancer AV Max that's kind of peppering them. Oh, dude, AV Harasser from the VS coming in as well, trying to get himself a little angle so he can shoot them.
I think this Cloaker is waiting for the call for when to go in and take this hack away.
And the multipliers, so the thing is, the NC doesn't necessarily have infantry here to deal with all these AV coming from all directions. So they're going to start losing vehicles, and there's not enough proxy rep either. But they're making it, they're brute forcing their way here. Dude, check it out, 17 seconds. If they can get on the point, this will have been worth it. What they're doing here is correct. It is this type of multipliers attacking an entrenched enemy. But they need to get in and get the capture point. I understand you would
have got a Cloaker waiting.
Oh, there's another twin VS Max on the cap point. Full resave.
This Cloaker's already on it then. I don't understand what this guy's waiting for.
The leapfrog not? Okay, I see the NC.
There is a Cloaker waiting for the leapfrog, and they're desperate here on the point. Why doesn't he take it? And
the NC's gonna move forward now. They're gonna. There was a save. Oh, he fired. The VS Cloaker's desperate. No, the medic's got him. He's down. Right, that's it. So this is all in Hydra's favor now. I try not to spaz out with the observer camera. Should start foot. Well, no, the cap point's still held by Maxes. 3 Maxes and infantry support holding the capture point. All the external Sunders are down for the defenders.
They've got a gal here. The VS have got a gal if they can redeploy people in.
This is critical. Hydra needs to grab this point.
Oh, and the point is flipping VS at Heoka Chemical, and they do have a gal
this
here.
Is it.
Oh, if the VS can transfer everyone into this gal now,
well,
this could be serious.
They need to get rid of the deployed Sunder. That's step 1. The CoGu needs to get rid of the Hydra Sunder that's outside. We see Hydra's already redeploying people on the Sunder. Maybe some of them will do some repairs. Beacons need to be taken out as well. Right.
If nothing else, this shifts the fight.
Yeah, but it's not enough just yet, because the beacon reinforcements, if they have better clutch infantry play, right, so that's the Sunder down. That is huge for Hydra. Now, sorry, for CoGu against Hydra.
Bought themselves 30 seconds as well to actually get people across in this gal.
But the problem is, okay, so many of, yeah, you're right. So CoGu has shifted the fight here because they've abandoned all their vehicles. They can't redeploy onto their vehicles, which means all of their vehicles currently in Chimney Rock are empty and exposed and will now be destroyed.
They have shifted up an AMS exactly where I said as well, across the pedestrian bridge, the footbridge. In fact, both footbridges here have AMS.
So there's one anti-infantry max left behind at Chimney Rock, and there's 4 NC Sunders outside. He can't do nothing. He's just shooting, bored.
Well, this is big if you can get the second base, because it means you can afford to lose the neutral base in the second half and still win the game. So the neutral base is always a little bit of a lottery. So it's nice to have that buffer if you can get this second base.
Yeah. Well, what have we got now? We got about 13 minutes left. So. Yeah, Hydra can't let it slip anymore, and the fact is they had the offensive push twice now, and they've let it go.
And this is a major choke point as well, coming across this bridge. This is not actually the easiest to necessarily re-secure. It depends how they go about doing it. Coming across this bridge directly.
What are they doing with their vehicles? They've pulled Sunderers out of the vehicle bay, but then one just stops. He's not driving, which means he's cock blocking, pardon my language, all the other Sunderers that are pulling out right now. Move, you moron! Honk the horn! Jesus, that would irritate me so much. Because he's blocking everybody else. He's preventing you from moving around, because you want to flank around and deploy outside the capture point again at Big Staircase, which is over here where the mouse is right now. You don't want to get destroyed by the Mag Rider Harasser that's kind of watching from the outside. Right. And the other critical thing here is tempo time. Hydra is losing tons of time. CoGu can grab this, and then even if they get pushed off, they've got at least 2.5 minutes to regroup and re-attack.
Sunday train, lame.
It's whatever works, right?
It's good karma when the Sunday train loses. I like it.
Well, any of you guys gonna deploy? Come on, NC, what's going on here, bro? Deploy. If you don't deploy, you guys can't spawn
a few Reavers in the sky now, actually. They've obviously been saving up their resources.
Dude, this Sunder back here, I get why you've deployed here, but your runtime is significantly longer. Go here and deploy there outside the cap room. Okay, so Hydra beginning to move in, fighting for the higher bridge. Not that many VS, they're all on the higher double door section.
Then they're going to lose this. They didn't transfer enough people in. I think they've been working on this, the VS, actually.
An infantry all only holds?
Well, no, just, we've had a few discussions with a few of their guys, and just recognising that critical juncture where you get everyone in and, go balls deep.
Alright, so...
And just recognising that time and not having people sort of, around the perimeter and faffing about in the dying seconds, or, when it's really critical, it doesn't even necessarily need to be the dying seconds.
Hydra's the team that's choosing to sacrifice a bunch of time, but they pull the right vehicles for the right job to get themselves deployed, to get themselves multipliers, to get them, to push off the aggression from CoGu. CoGu's still on the outskirts of the base. Galaxy's still flying around. Looks like they've still got some deployed Sunders.
This is Rob on all call. 10 minutes remaining in the match. 10 minutes remaining now.
You heard the man. So, to be seen whether or not, because at the same time, there's a minute 40 for CoGu to re-attack. For CoGu, they are not going to have the same advantage that Hydra have, because Hydra's going to attack from the south. They could get Chimney Rock. If they don't want to go into a tiebreaker here, they really need to think about pushing the second base, or having a really good plan, to push Chimney Rock from the north. It looks like, so Hydra's not leaving for obvious reasons, because the base still got time to go, and they want to get rid of the external spawns. They're just kind of slowly rooting out all of the CoGu forces on the outskirts of the base. We've got a number of Sunders. What I'd like to see is perhaps a vehicle coming in out, like a tank or a lightning AP, coming out via the west, and then basically flanking all of these Sunders. Because one thing I haven't seen Hydra do yet is repool a heavy tank. It's expensive, but I haven't seen anyone repool like a Vanguard.
Yeah, there was one that was escorting that Sunday train about 10 minutes ago, but there haven't been that many after the initial.
Yeah. Alright, let's go up. Sorry, I'm missing the air battle. It's long range standoff between the Reavers
it's
and
very
Scythes
high
again,
isn't it? Yeah. I kind of feel like the VS have got the measure of them in the air. It definitely feels like the VS have got their size in the air a little bit more than the NC have got their Reavers.
I vaguely think it's 6-on-6. It's hard to tell with what's rendering, but you are basically peppering at long range. And I can understand why there wouldn't be a prop shot Galaxy at this stage of the game, but
I mean, actually, Charlie's squad for VS is 8, which is quite deep. I quite like that. We used to run 8 as well, but you know, just because we figured that air dominance was very important.
Alright, so Hyoka Chemical is fully saved. So you've got fully saved, you've got all your multipliers, you probably leave a max or 2 of people behind, and we see Chimney Rock is now all VS. I think people are just... Oh wait, no, we've got a couple of infos.
They really should be back here and not getting mugged off by that. I mean, they weren't really pushing Hyoka Chemical, so if you're not going to push Hyoka Chemical, at least make sure you're back at your own base covering off the leapfrog.
Yeah, well, it's a super violent small infantry skirmish, just by a couple of infiltrators with beacon drops on the Chimney Rock capture point. CoGu's got a resecure.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do that quickly.
Well, the issue is that
they should never even have really got on there.
Oh, talking about Vanguards, there's a Vanguard right now leading the fresh vehicle push. So, Hydra...
Sunday train coming down the road from the
Exactly.
NC.
Hydra here, to me, is being the proactive team. Okay, so... And although, in my opinion, they've had a poor opening strategy and dropped the ball twice with the terms to capturing Chimney Rock.
Wait, this one Sunday, what is he doing? He's just driving straight in the base. The rest of them cut off behind the rock. I mean, what is this guy doing? Just a free kill here. Here we go.
Yeah, he's got 3 people. He's got gunners, but the problem is he's
flanked
from behind, he's flanked from the front.
He just went the wrong way. Everyone else went left, and he carried straight on down the road.
Okay, so one of them survived, and that was the infiltrator. Let's follow this info, shall we? What are you going to do for me?
I mean, VS have just blocked all these pathways with their own Sundays, which is actually pretty sensible.
Oh, nope, don't want that. Well, that was fail. The infiltrator did nothing. I mean, there's so much kind of strength around the capture point. I mean, this could be a smart play, however, from CoGu, allowing the Hydra forces to, envelop them, come round, steeping a strong defense, and then counterleap again. What has Hydra got in defense? Their previous cap point, like 1 infiltrator with 1 motion sensor.
Farah, they're sitting on this hill that you like.
Have a hill that I like?
This was your opening move, wasn't it? A couple of years ago, where this sun is. Do you agree, Farah, that there should be a cheap Sunday that is a spawn point and a more expensive one that is a battle bus?
The problem is that for live server play, it makes sense for what it is. It's cheap, it's effective, it's more noob friendly, it works. But when you go into competitive play, it's
so drop an all 5 minutes remaining in the match, 5 minutes remaining now.
So they've got 60 seconds now. If neither point goes in 60 seconds, expect the fighting to die off immediately as people basically regenerate their reserves. If you go into competitive play like Server Smash or Compash or whatnot, or LaneSmash, certain vehicles, if you could tweak it because you're on live service, which you can't, but if you could tweak the costs, that would be more beneficial because it's too easy for organized teams to maximize the benefits. The potential of it under organized play is huge. Yeah, it seems to be a stalemate. It's a trade-off right now. So it looks like it's going to be a 1-0 to CoGu. But the fact is, Hydra had this at the beginning. What gets me is that the opening play, while I think both opening plays were poor, Hydra's was slightly better. They got to the crossroads. They got the choke point. Yeah, and they got...
Do you think that?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of think the VS had that really quite under control. They were pretty standoffish. agreed.
No. I think
they
Hydra
were very
dropped the ball.
patient, certainly, but I kind of felt like when they wanted to, they just came in and got it.
Yeah, but the thing is that it favours the south, and the north got control of the capture point. It was the north's mistake. All right, we'll talk about this in the halftime, right? We'll just watch this last kind of push here. They're up to
I think it's probably already too late, isn't it? I mean, just for the benefit of our viewers,
it is 3:22. It doesn't matter.
It's not allowed to complete.
No,
the time is over. The time is over.
Yeah, just the current rule set, which you can argue for a chain player, it doesn't matter. So if I was either team, I would not.
Don't be spending any resources.
Don't pull max, don't pull grenades, don't resupply, that type of stuff. Don't use consumables. You want to regenerate.
This is Robin. All call 3 minutes remaining in the match. 3 minutes now.
I think both these teams are decent enough to know that. I'd be very surprised to see people spamming resources now. But I would anticipate seeing pretty much an identical opener from the VS, regardless of the fact that they're coming from the other side. I think that they were happy to let the NC take the point and get on there. They ground out the air, and then they started working on the vanguards with their ESFs. And actually, by the end of it, it was pretty comfortable. With a minute remaining on the hack, the VS there was not an NC to be seen.
We'll see in a sec. I'm just watching the rest of this half, and then during the halftime, I'll elaborate why I think. They've been counter-capped at none of our matters at Hyoka Chemical.
I mean, even these pilots now,
Robin,
they should not be engaging, because if they lose their ESF, if they save their ESF into the second half, it helps everyone resource-wise. I mean, they can even donate it to somebody else who's low on resources. And
it doesn't. You have to leave the continent, so it doesn't matter.
Ah, dear. Okay, fair enough.
Because there's rotations and flips, and you leave the continent to despawn all your consumables and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. All these new little things.
That's a full save. Alright, okay, so minute 30, guys. It's basically just in a sort of cooldown session right now. Teams are going to be, evaluating how they got on. Ultimately, the outcome that we expected happened. The team from the south got Chimney Rock, went 1 point up, and then were unable to progress to Hyoka Chemical. The team from the north obviously lost to Hyoka Chemical, but now they're going to be fighting south, so Hydra is now going to be attacking from the south. And to be fair, all things being equal, considering how much of an advantage you have coming from the south.
This is Robin. All call. 1 minute remaining in the match. Now, 1 minute.
Considering the advantage, I expect this to be a 1-1 tie. However, if I was to assess the map, I would say that when Hydra wants to push, they can push. They do a combined vehicle grouping push, and they can move from one base to another base that is well entrenched, and they can, move in and attack and then grab a point. The CoGu forces were quite good at getting the base, doing an infantry max kind of push from spawn point, and then holding either one
30 seconds remaining.
And two, doing a sort of beacon redeploy drop, applying pressure on Hyoka Chemical. But the Hyoka Chemical attack was never something serious. There wasn't like a ton of multipliers around the capture point itself. They were held at arm's length around the lake of Hyoka Chemical, which is, the nature of its defense. Now, that's the basic kind of layout of what happened in the half. I'll just wait for this
10 seconds
to end.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End of round. Can I ask all team, all participants to leave the continent, to leave Amerish, while I set up the round?
Alright, so I'll explain it here for you, right? Why I think the opening plays. I think the 3 tanks, if you're going to use 3 tanks, the CoGu team didn't have a repair for the tank. So that the tanks were on their own. And maybe they had 1 gunner, maybe they had 2 gunners, but it's more cost efficient. If you're going to have 3 tanks with with extra gunners, it's more beneficial to just have 6 tanks, or to have 4 tanks and 2 proxy rep instead, in terms of efficiency, because of what the guns
certainly off the opener.
Right,
yeah.
Off the opener, okay.
Because it's free, yeah.
So even if it was just 1-man tanks, and you had 3 of them, 3 is a really low number, especially with that repair support. And the Hydra team, they only had a single proxy rep who didn't even go with his vanguards because he stopped to take care of the infiltrator on the energy bridge. So I think that was poor. The single use of galaxies, I think, is also poor because in the opener, when you can have galaxies, we can see that the CoGu team is going high. They're doing a kind of a standoff type thing, and that basically nullifies each other's air force. That's fine. But if you've got that many people in the air and you can afford to have two proxy warp galaxies is infinitely more powerful than a single galaxy, because the proxy warp effect affects the ground vehicles if you want to fly low, the air vehicles if they want to come near it, plus the landing benefit of using the gun, and two of them is a huge damage sponge. So you either go two galaxies or no galaxies. You don't go with one galaxy. I think that's maybe a mistake. But with regards to the opening tactical play pushing into Chimney Rock, the South, in my opinion, the way I see it, should have easily pushed up to Chimney Rock with their vehicles way in advance of the Hydra forces.
But they didn't have many. That was the point. So they obviously made a decision that they didn't want to compete on the ground early,
which is a mistake.
You know, which is well, I mean, they won the base. So.
No. So there's more to it. This is my point. So when they pushed up to Chimney Rock, you can't just put it black and white. They got the base. That's it. No, their opening strategy lost them the base. They didn't push up. They didn't get into the base. They didn't have their multipliers in the capture point. They simply didn't get there, and they lost the cap. The Hydra Force pushed down the road with the limited numbers that they had. They got up to the crossroads, they got their tanks, and they were watching the western approach. At that point on the 2-minute marker, the new conglomerate from Hydra is doing well. However, this is where they dropped the ball. They have nobody on the eastern approach.
Okay guys, the warp gates have been rotated. Please feel free to join back on Amerish.
So they have nobody on the eastern approach to watch the incoming. If they have vehicles on the west, even just having one watching and then one on the east, they need to see the deploy options, because if you're thinking, how can the enemy take the base from us here? It's either a YOLO drop or a deployed Sunder that allows them to max up an infantry run to the capture point on a short distance, which is exactly what CoGu did. But CoGu only got back into the game because they had a deployed Sunder on the east that wasn't watched for by Hydra. And then crucially, the next damning thing about Hydra didn't do at Chimney Rock is that my rule is that the capture point on a third faction base, as it's ticking down, if it's 30 seconds until the base goes through, you need to be at least 30 seconds away, if not less, so that you can get to the capture point before it goes through.
Yeah, I mean, people need to be...
of the platoon was too far away. So
yeah, but people need to be aware of that timer on 2 minutes. Now, you don't need to be at the point at 2 minutes, but
no, but
you need to
fall
be aware
in,
that
is my point.
You gravitate, you start thinking about it and slowly gravitating towards it. Absolutely, there's no excuse for
so Hydra
being
didn't do
too
that.
far away.
They had a good strong presence in the west. They didn't watch the east. They had a good initial hold on the capture point, but they didn't pull in all their numbers to grab it, because capturing Chimney Rock is worth all your maxes, all your vehicles, all that type of stuff. Getting the base and getting the crucial point is worth that initial nano investment, and they simply didn't have their whole platoon in that sort of valleyed area around the base. I would even have driven the vanguards in, to be honest, right up to the thing once it got down to the 40-second marker, simply to block the doors and use the gun or anything else. At that point, you pull in everything so that they can't steal it, which is exactly what CoGu did. So it was a multiple of failures by Hydra that allowed CoGu to take the base. It wasn't Hydra doing well. Hydra had the deployed Sundra, so it's very easy to say, right, we got 12, 18 guys, max up, infantry up, push. That, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from CoGu's ability to do that. They are a good team and they're good, but they were allowed in by Hydra.
I'm not quite sure I read the opener the same as you. You know, they had a lot of ESFs, the VS. The Alpha Squad ESFs were essentially throwaways, so they formed the vanguard of the ESF push. Because they were throwaways, obviously hoping to take out a few of the enemy ESFs and softening up others, which meant that the Charlie squad could hang back, sit off. They didn't lose anyone for ages, the Charlie squad in the air. So they were clearly focused on trying to keep those guys up. And it didn't matter that they lost their throwaway Alpha Squad ESFs, because they had Sundays moving around the back, and that was what spawned the ground squad.
But it's
having thrown away their ESFs.
But it's Hydra allowed that to happen.
Well, you know, you could argue that the VS allowed the NC to kind of come in on the point and
Two
get the initial
Sundras,
hack.
even if they're stealth
So
Sundras,
it depends what coloured glasses you're looking at.
Yeah, but to drive
through.
in the Sundra, it's easy from the south to drive a Sundra on the eastern flank, stealth, and then sets up. So it's Hydra's mistake. Like, if they're going to hold the road, I'd honestly hold south. If you've got vehicle control around the base, I'd get yourself into a position where you can see the approaches from the south. In my opinion, Hydra allowed CoGu to get back into it. They had the base, and then they dropped the ball. Ultimately, CoGu should have got Chimney Rock in the first place, which they did from the opening. They didn't do it with the first push. They didn't get control right from the beginning, which I feel they should have. Hydra comes in, they get base control. It's then on Hydra's initiative to keep it, because they have initiative, they've got tempo, they've got the people, they've got the vehicles, they've got the control. They drop the ball, they allow the enemy to sneak up a Sundra, so therefore the enemy can spawn in, and then because the enemy has no other vehicles, no other multipliers, it's easy to spawn 18 to 20 people and then max in infantry and run onto the point. And you don't need the Sundra after that initial pull because you're already at the cap point and you've stolen it. So that's the way I see it anyway. We'll have to ask the leaders at the end what they thought about this opening play, but anyway, that's the first half.
I mean, all
done.
I'm saying is that's exactly how we would have played it. It was so similar to an MCY opening play that heavy in the air, get a Sunder in under the radar, and much of your air is just throwaway and is there to do some early damage, and then ding, you spawn and you're in on the ground, and that is your actual primary role for the rest of the game. And that's exactly how we would have played this.
If I am playing with the objective to win and cheese, I would have brought, personally, if I'm the Hydra Force, I would have had more Sunders, and I would have driven them onto the capture points. The fact is, if you push with 12, if a max infantry force only in a choke point of that narrow road to the A cap point, double Bulldog or single Bulldog or single Fury, multiple Furies, one Fury per Sundra and having a bunch of them, and then the ability to drive said vehicle and run people over, it's not flawless, it's not going to stop the push, but it buys you 30 seconds or 40 seconds. It's really powerful. So Hydra had the time to do it. In the 2 minutes, and the people that are shot down or the people that free, they could have brought them in from the previous base. They could have driven the Vanguards in and used them as blocks or whatnot, but they didn't. They didn't collapse on the point, they didn't get their people on the point, and they allowed CoGu to get it. So that's where we are right now. That's the first half, okay? You're the second half now. So you're Hydra and you're coming in from the south. What's your thinking? What's your mentality? Do you go extra vehicle, less vehicle? Do you keep the exact same game plan? You can get to the base first, so you can definitely establish yourself. But you need to make sure, obviously, the enemy doesn't get hidden spawns. Do you watch the trees to prevent them from doing another kind of last-minute respawn in and then keep the cap point? And what do you think?
I kind of feel like the VS have got the upper hand in the air, and assuming that Hydra agree with me, and maybe they won't, but if they do, it wouldn't surprise me if we get a lot of ground vehicles from Hydra, and exactly as you've just described, they just smash onto this point and surround it with armor. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a few less Reavers this time round. I mean, how many do you think there were this time? Half a dozen, maybe 8?
You mean dedicated?
There was a few
team, or
on the NC Reavers
on the opening play.
Yeah.
To be honest, anything 10 to 12 I think is about the norm these days. If you want to go extra more than that, I think that's too heavy.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll see less than that from the NC this time around for sure. I'm not even sure they had that many off their opener in the first half. Certainly the VS did. Maybe even 1 or 2 more than that.
It depends how you want to play. I think the ideal number, at least from my viewpoint, is that 10 ESFs and 2 proxy
Okay, guys, this is Robin. I'll call 5 minutes until round 2 start. 5 minutes.
10 ESFs and 2 proxy galaxies, I think, is more powerful than 12 ESFs.
No, it depends who your pilots are, but so largely I would agree with you. Broadly.
As a broadly speaking, not everyone is an amazing pilot. If you've got really astonishing pilots, then I would go with the more ESFs. But depending on the skill set and the players you have, broadly speaking, 10 ESFs and 2 proxy galaxies is quite powerful.
Yeah.
And it gives you opportunities, because if you've got 2 groups in Alpha Bravo, you can have the galaxies in either squad, and they can spawn in, and they have the ability to move around, and they can do repairs to the ground, and you can land and use the gun. So there's flexibility is what I'm getting at. So I'm curious to see what the opening vehicle setup of both teams is, whether they mix up or whether they go, this is what we've got, this is what we practice, let's go with it. But ultimately, if I was to anticipate what happens this round, I think Hydra is doing a better job at doing combined vehicle play, specifically on the ground. Their Air Force, when it wants to, can at least hold the skies at a long-range engagement, but whether or not that's just because CoGu wants to play that way, I don't know. If CoGu plays them more aggressively, I don't know what happens there. This is all on Hydra. Hydra can get Chimney Rock. If they move up to Chimney Rock, move up the capture point, watch the approaches on the flanks in the east and the west, do not allow CoGu to do that kind of Sunder drive and spawn in, take it. If CoGu can't use maxes, Hydra gets this base. Easy, done. And they can even drive multiple multipliers onto the capture building itself. 4 of them would be great. And for me to see, that would make me feel happy. And then any type of extra Air Force, you maybe not flying with guys, have a Walker gun and a Fury gun on the top of the Sunder, and that's it, done, right? And if you're CoGu attacking from the north, I don't know. They were timid when they pushed from the south. They didn't necessarily push up, so I don't expect to see CoGu vehicles pushing hard up to Chimney Rock. So this is all on Hydra. I expect Hydra to get to Chimney Rock. I expect them to start the cap point, and it's whether or not they can hold it for the 4 full minutes here, because I've seen them drop the ball twice now, and I don't know if they can hold it,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna. My gut feeling is telling me that the VS are going to get Chimney Rock. I just kind of felt like they actually were in pretty reasonable control, and even though there was this sort of massive spawn very near the point on this Sundra just round the back
as requested,
that appeared to kind of be lucky. I'm just not sure that is the case. I kind of felt like they had it under control and that they knew what they were doing.
I'm not saying they got
we'll
lucky,
see.
But we'll see how it goes in the second half.
And then after that, they did push down to Heyoka Chemical, and I know the NC did get this hack quite low on Chimney Rock, but I have no idea why. There was very few of them in here for ages, and I just think the VS misread it slightly and
we don't have a lot of
time
time here
quickly enough
until the half goes through. So, as requested on stream, this is the rest of the roster for CoGu, Vogu, and CSG. It's on the stream. You can see the people, you can see the shiny numbers in the KD. It was very well done by our graphics department. It's definitely not my work because I'm terrible at it with my MS Paint skills. That is the CoGu team. You can also see at the beginning of the stream that we're going through it. And this is the second roster for Hydra. Wow, look at the roster. It's amazing. Oh, it's all Hydra. Oh, yeah, that's right, because it's all the same team, isn't it? Okay. Well, it's lots of lovely people coming from Cobalt.
Guys, this is Robin. All call 1 minute 30 seconds until a match start. 1 minute 30.
So you can evaluate the names. I honestly probably couldn't pronounce half of these, but there you go. And why do I need a countdown when I have the lovely voice of Robertino constantly bellowing in my ear? 1 minute to go. Anyway, back on topic. You were saying, Jolly? Doesn't matter, we're about to go. 60 seconds.
Doesn't matter exactly.
Oh, we're 6 seconds to go, so I'm going to check out the opening vehicle compositions now.
This is Robin. All call 1 minute until match start. Now, 1 minute.
Okay, so I'm only seeing a single Sunder, second Sunder. There's no heavy tanks here for the CoGu force. Galaxy.
There's
two
Mag Riders. There's 2 Mag Riders here.
3 Mag Riders.
It's
a bit late in the pool, if they regenerate. 4 tanks 3 tanks and 1 proxy rep. So it looks like they're going with their standard setup. What they did before.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I expect them to try and rinse, repeat, and I expect to see.
I want more.
30 seconds until match starts.
I expect to see a fairly standoffish.
There's a single Galaxy as well.
Yes.
I really wanted to see more Sunders from the southern team here because they can absolutely choke the capture point. And the thing is, if you've got slightly more vehicle, if you have 4 tanks,
15
you can watch both approaches. But
I'm curious to know if they're going to try this breach hack in reverse to the NC because it is doable.
It's a waste of a person. It's a waste of the nanites of the vehicle.
Oh, he could have put 3 vanguards, all 3 vanguards into the ditch, straight off the opener. That's huge.
If he's quick enough. I mean, it's really maybe. It depends whether or not you want to waste one guy and his time and his vehicle.
No, they're not racing for it anyway. There is actually a couple of Reavers peeling off left, but they're not charging for it.
They're waiting for their ground vehicles first. They don't want to trick it. So single Galaxy being a kind of a damage sponge. He's dropped a max. 2 maxes have been dropped by the single Galaxy.
So once again, the Charlie squad for the VS is fairly standoffish, and the rest of the throwaway ESFs that are engaging early.
the... Okay, so the... Oh, actually, they've hacked the vehicle terminal. So the NC have hacked the vehicle terminal, and this is where their extra Sunders are coming from. So well done, NC. And now they're just going to drive those on the point. That is what I wanted to see. Stealth Sunder coming in from the CoGu team. This is going to give them their spawn options, as we saw earlier in the first half.
The NC Vanguards are moving around the back this time, though. They're going to find this.
Yeah, he's not deployed yet. You're right. Yeah, they found it, and they're going to pick it off. They saw the medic. Did they see the Sunder when it deployed? Surely they must know it's here. Okay, capture point in contention. Air groups are both picking each other. The Mag Riders, they don't... Alright, see, they have a proxy rep Sunder. Okay, so I guess maybe better than one. Galaxy's landed as well. Is it proxy rep? I don't think that Galaxy's proxy rep, mate. Can you check this out for me?
Which one?
VS Galaxy behind the giant rocket chimney rock to the north side.
No, he's not.
Why? Oh, never mind. Right, okay. So the Vanguards are holding the eastern approach to the base. They got themselves...
They're on your hill.
They are on that hill. I don't think it's my hill, but they're on the hill. The eastern approach, there's nothing coming from there, but it's so awkward to drive up and around. You know, as it is, can be blocked off. And yeah, so it is the western approach is harder to come in by. The eastern approach is how CoGu got in last time. This time, you can see that Hydra isn't having none of it. They're totally locking it down with their triple Vanguard. Kind of... God, I'm watching World of Tanks right now with the way they're shimming and jolting back and forth.
So VS are slowly about to get in the air, so this is when it's going to become interesting. Can they use this air?
Hornet play,
to clear
yeah.
the point.
Or whether or not the Walker guns from the ground vehicles, if they're not engaging in the ground vehicles themselves, can deal with it. In fact, we see some aggressive pushing by some of the sides, but they're being picked off by some of the rear. No, actually, this is it. They've made their play. They're trying to go for it. The Sunders on the cap point are adding to the anti-air. It's actually been really effective. We still have a whole number of Reavers.
VS Gal is now in the air as well. Are they going to try and drop some?
2 minutes 20. This is probably their only...
Early.
Ah, but no, the ground vehicles from the CoGu team are beginning to push back. Alright, so you're going to see an instance here. We can see that the Mag Riders are counter-pushing the Hydra force. Hydra now is in a really dangerous spot here.
NC Gal's going to go down here, surely. Yeah.
Yeah, but you check the Sunder and Mag Rider forces coming in from the eastern flank. Hydra hasn't hold this. The CoGu force is pushing up. They're going to deploy, and they're going to be able to push in. Oh man,
not much on the point here.
The Reavers from Hydra need to push in. These 6 Reavers in the back, they need to stop their guys from being bombed because they need those Sunders as the multipliers. Right now, the Scythes are free to ground bomb. See these Reavers over here that's kind of way off in the distance? They need to push up. They need to attack.
Despa's made the call for everyone to start moving towards the point.
Minute 30. Come on, Hydra. You're dropping the ball here. You've lost your Sunders because you didn't move in with your Reavers. It was critical that you moved in. You've got to push this stuff off because they've lost the Sunders on the outside. Now in comes the CoGu Sunders. So Hydra, and they're pushing in from the eastern flank as well and the west. So I don't think Hydra can hold this. I think
it's looking good for the VS. Certainly, the VS Gal is still in the air as well. He's got a few.
Now the Reavers move in, but it's too late. They've lost their multipliers outside the base. 60 seconds to go. They're going to lose it.
Do well to get
this is a very good push by CoGu. Just systematically picking apart Hydra, but Hydra's just not working together properly.
There is a Vanguard desperately trying to get in on this fight, but he's too slow.
He's trying to get rid of the Galaxy with his AP gun.
Very well done again. As I said, they're patient. They don't, they bit of a slow roll up to the point, but they all seem to be pretty in control with it.
The set play there by CoGu was enough. They picked apart the Sunders outside the capture point because the Reaver force just stayed at distance. They allowed all that air attack to come in. Now the Reavers are here. Now they've cleared the sky, but it's too late, and that then allowed the Sunders to come in unopposed.
The VS Charlie squad have really played well off these openers, though. They've made it difficult for the NC because they've stayed very conservative. They've used their throwaway ESFs very well.
To push in. The NC Reavers, they were at a distance, way off at, Skylance, and there was 6 of them, and there was about 6 of them. Even if you lost your vehicle, stop your team from being bombed. You need those Sunders alive. That was what critical. And we see here that the NC have managed to move the Vanguard up, and they've managed to move it up to the capture point. They don't have a deploy option. They're here too late.
Tank mines everywhere. The VS have got tank mines all around this capture point, which is good in case there's a last second.
It's a really good play by CoGu, and this is not to take away from CoGu's play. They did really, really well. They didn't have the control of the point. They knew they were going to be here second. They moved up as an organised push, and they got it. But I still feel Hydra could have done better.
NC Sunday train coming. Come on, tank mines. That seems to be their standard response, actually, on the back foot, the NC Sunday train.
I mean, it works, I guess, but you need to...
It's not working for them, is it?
Well, so the point is that not all elements of the different arms of the NC are working in cohesion here. I don't feel the air properly supported the ground at that particular point. Now, is our flip going right? So there's nothing at Skylance. So Hydra's got... oh man, this is going to be difficult for Hydra. Hydra needs to take back Chimney Rock
they need a double
and
take.
then Chemical Lab.
Absolutely. They need a double take now. That's what I said. You know, that's why it's nice to have the buffer. They can lose this now, the VS.
Okay.
They're not going to want to, obviously.
Well, obviously not. But right, so the capture point in the hands of the NC. But the problem is that the CoGu owns the base, so this is going to make things complicated. If you're the NC force, you need to dominate the capture building. Get rid of all the mines, get a couple of Sunders in, blockade the approach from the teleport rooms, watch it with your air, watch it with your vehicles, that type of stuff, and buy as much time as possible.
I kind of feel like the VS are going to be slightly ahead on the resource game at the moment as well.
I like the fact that Hydra's pushing up and out, and this current timer, we'll probably have the VS forces, they've pulled back to probably Chemical and Hyoka Tech, just to pull fresh vehicles to counter push the Hydra force off their base.
Ballsy, that, to be fair, that is ballsy. I would just spawn, I'd just spawn everyone and bum rush his point. There's hardly any NC here.
Well, that's true. They're
reinforcing the capture point now with a Vanguard and a Sunday.
The thing is, if there's a bunch of vehicles on the capture point, like a bunch of Sunders and whatnot, it's actually very hard to push into it directly.
But there isn't.
There isn't now. No. But whether or not they have the intel on that, that's the issue.
Well, there's a few Alpha Squad guys here. They really should have made the call. They should have just got everyone on the ground. 24 guys. They would have taken this easily. This is more of a problem now.
Weird Galaxy, what is he doing? He's dropping people in a really awkward... Oh, it's because his burning is about to die. So, yeah, it's a good potential kill in the Galaxy, or at least forcing it off. The Air Force from the CoGu hiding behind the rocks, firing their Hornets. Oh, I don't believe there's a gentleman's agreement. Those are Coyotes. Okay, so
the Alpha Squad are trying here, but there's just not enough of them on the ground at the moment.
With the current setup, there is no reason why Hydra should lose this. They have external control on the western approach to the base. They have the multipliers around the capture point, i.e. 3 Sunders. They can pull
Charlie
in more
Squad in action again, VS. They're going to get the air back. You see, they've delayed now. As I said, there's 4 Sundays here now, which is a ball ache. If they just spawned, got everyone on the ground and done it, honestly.
We got Mag Riders on the roads.
Don't give them a chance to get, you know.
Oh, that's interesting. So we got 4 people in 2 Mag Riders on the western approach, basically trying to chip away at the Vanguards. What you got? Yeah, they're picking some of them out. It's fair enough, but on 90 seconds to go, this doesn't matter anymore. And the Air Force trying to bomb the Sunders, when you've got multiple proxy reps and infantry that can repair, and you've got the guns, walker guns firing, you can just fend them off.
Yeah, they might. There is a few on the ground here for the VS though. This is looking a bit better for them right now. And is there anyone in this gal? Then he's...
Oh, they've got the deployed Sunder, the VS, right next to the capture point as well. The Air Force from CoGu here being really, really punishing with the Hornets. Oh, is that a Gal drop? Yeah, Gal drop from the VS, getting rid of another Sunder. They're trying to get rid of the multipliers. 60 seconds to go, and the deployed Sunder now is allowing the Max to push in. Oh. This is it. So the tank force is pushing back the other tank force. That's the VS one's pushing back the NC one. The multipliers are being picked off by Gal Drop and just by Hornet Fire by the Scythes. And the deployed Sunder from Kogu near the external capture point is allowing the push in. So it's bizarre. Hydra had this locked down.
Huge beacon drop from the VS.
Yeah. Hydra had this locked down, man. Hydra had this totally locked down with 2 minutes to go.
This is still not over, but yeah, they should.
They were in such a strong position, and then it's just slowly falling out of their hands. I don't think they'll get this. Not with 20. No, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, they use the capture time well, the VS. They, as I said, they're patient, they don't panic, they make sure that they get everyone together. But how much can
they hold it for? Because this is where the NC can bring up fresh multipliers. They got the fresh air forces back, they got fresh Sunders outside. If they make them pay, like, there's no hard elements here. The Reaver Force realistically could get rid of the Sunderer. That would be the really big thing that's dealing right now, or at least tail the ground vehicles where it's at. Yeah, we can see that the infantry forces are probably going to counter push into A, so long as they don't allow the CoGu force to get too many people in here. They should be able to take it back and then flip the base. But it's back to 60 seconds now.
Medics just need to be working overtime in this capture point at the moment for the VS. They can stall this for ages with what they've got in here.
Beacons are going down for the VS force. The deployed Sunder near the cap is down.
They really need to rush a max in here. If they could get one max in here, this would be a lot more comfortable for them.
Still strong infantry forces by the VS, but I'd say about 12 people trying to hold this point, and it's doing wonders. Every second this ticks in their favour, it's just buying them tons of time.
Yeah, as I said, medics in here just need to be working absolutely overtime. And what, they've got to get a max in here. What's going on? Here comes a max.
Well,
now,
the deployed Sunder's really far away.
No, just from the spawn point, man.
Yeah, just from the. No, are you talking about VS or NC max?
Yeah, VS. If they just get a VS max in here.
Finally, the NC's pushed in. I mean, it's taken a very 2 minutes when they had external out.
One resonate as well, I tell you, but there's still a heavy in here.
Okay, so point is flipping. It's back to a 2 minute base. To be fair, Hydra had a better hold the first time round with 2 minutes to go. Now we've got a very tenuous infantry only hold. No NC maxes, only a beacon, deployed Sunder on the outskirts, only one Sunder on the outskirts. In terms of the air control right now, I think yeah, it looks probably Kogu's probably regrouping at the tech plant at the chemical lab. 9 seconds to go though. Pressure isn't on. Their vehicles aren't being bombed. Hydra could probably get this. It's their base to lose.
I mean, once again, there's about two NC in here. Just run from the spawn room to the point. Get your Alpha squad together. Go together, and they'll get this back easily. Really, not many NC here.
Oh, they're bursting with their maxes from the spawn room.
Yeah, they need to worry way more about the point.
The area isn't the issue. Okay, so the Galaxy, incoming Galaxy now from Kogu, flying around. I don't know if he's got
this Galaxy's even got half a dozen in, it'll do it.
He's trying to get rid of the Sundra that Hydra has on near the cap point, being kind of a multiplier. Migrator and some Sunders incoming.
Oh, they need to go now. There's loads of NC vehicles incoming here. They need to go right now, the VS, or this is going to be too late.
Yeah, this is the extra multipliers. Oh, but they're blocking each other. Come on, move up, move up, move up. Alright, here comes the push. Check it out. We got about 10 guys, maybe?
Yeah, that's it.
Depending what's running. No, it's 6 with 1 max, twin engineer, and extra forces incoming with the Sunder. Sunder's deploying on the orange kind of cargo net.
Right.
Oh, it's only a Basilisk gun on this NC Sunder. Right,
so there's no NC in here.
Block
literally,
the door.
There is no NC in the point. One guy.
The engineer commissioning the medic still has the point. Okay, no, the VS are in now. Like, all NC on point. Now is the time to call Hail Mary. All on. You need this base if you're going to get the next win. The max is down. Hydra going to get... Oh, okay, VS max here. YOLO'd in. Not enough. Rocketed in the face. That's it. Hydra gets it. 2-1 right now. How much time you got? 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes to get one base. We've seen that Hydra is competent when they do a vehicle push from one next to the lane. They could push up to Hail Chemical, but Kogu is just doing a really good job at kind of base defense. I'm not sure they can take Chemical. Chemical is probably a step too far.
Look at this now there. You see, look at that. Too late. They're flipping the point back, and now it's gone back blue.
That was just the same.
They had a couple of opportunities then. Sometimes you've just got to spawn and go to the point. as a group. On two occasions then, they should have re-secured that twice over.
Right, let's have a look here at Chemical. There is no... okay, I say there was no rear deployed Sunder. There is actually a VS1 trying to get himself set up. Stealth Sunder trying to set up a Hilka Chemical. I am probably making the enemy think there's an info there, so I'll leave the Sphere of Influence. The NC Force probably wants to leave 1 or 2 Sunders, if possible, at Chimney Rock's cap point. They can't obviously abandon it just yet until they move into Hilka Chemical. See all the CoGus falling back, regrouping, and now you've got that tense situation where both teams are vying for control of the enemy cap point. Without,
Well, I mean, the NC have no choice; they have to come.
CoGus, this is it. This one here, Light Assault, he's picked off 2 guys, maybe 3 guys. He's got the capture point at Chimney Rock, and now it's.
You see, this is good. This is good. This is good. This is
oh,
just time.
That Sunder's not even deployed, bro. The Sunder at A at Chimney Rock is not deployed. There's no reason why
he's even gonna kill it. Oh, it might burn. If that burns, that's...
Engineer from the Reavers dropped. He's not repairing it. He wants to get the save. You gonna repair the Sunder? Repair the Sunder, bro. Repair the Sunder, bro. Turn around. Repair the Sunder. You repair the Sunder.
I just wanted to
this guy repair. He knows what's going on. Now you need to squad block it.
It's just another 60 seconds away. They've all had to turn around, come back. Oh,
but Gal drop. We check it out. Pushing in. Or maybe Gal drop. Yep, 1-2 maybe.
They're just desperately trying to keep pressure up on this base now, which is kind of the right tactic, really.
The NC aren't moving at Hilka Chemical. We see 1 Sunder moving at Hilka Chemical on the north side. You need to leave probably 3 people behind here at Chimney Rock, and that Sunder outside is not there anymore. So bring another one.
Flipping though, Hilka Chemical is flipping.
All right.
What is in here? Oh no, it's going back. There was 1 sneaky guy got in. 2 cloakers.
Sunders are not going to make it to Hilka Chemical. We have a twin Mag Rider force basically just picking off anything that comes near the base. It's going to be an infantry only attempted attack at Hilka Chemical, and CoGu knows that they've got a really defensible base and they just need to leave 12 guys to properly defend Chemical, while another 12 guys maybe keep attacking the Chimney Rock itself, keeping the pressure there. I mean, it's really hard for Hydra to make an effective push here. They need to get rid of those 2 Mag Riders as a start.
There's NC Beacon on the roof of Hilka Chemical, but it's a bit desperate.
5-6 people. You can pressure the enemy to bring more people here, but it doesn't change the fact that... Okay, so you see the vehicle convoy on the western approach of Hilka Chemical, sorry, the western edge of Chimney Rock going into Hilka Chemical. They do actually have 2 vanguards. They've got themselves some Sunders. They need to move up as a team. They need to move up as a team to pressure the capture points again. Took them out.
Yeah, they're desperately. They're using a beacon to try and drop guys on the roof.
Just like 1 light assault. And this is where single FPS skills comes to play. If you can send your best FPS guy just to harass the capture point, kill a couple of people, there. Beacon drop for the VS, maybe they'll get more reinforcements. On the point, being a nuisance, he's pulled back 2 Sunders because they can't afford not to. This entire armor push has not happened because 2 people became a harassment on the capture point.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just about eking out the clock now for the VS. I'd be surprised to see them really commit to Hilka Chemical other than as a backhack and delaying.
Yeah, exactly. Just backhack, delaying.
But that is absolutely what they should be trying to do.
Thing is, the infantry play from the CoGu team is strong. The individual players are really, really powerful. So you need to send 2 or 3 guys to kill their 1 guy, and then it just means you don't go anywhere.
I think the VS are the better team from what I've seen. I'm disappointed that they lost Chimney Rock. I kind of felt that if they just made the right calls, it was...
I think their infantry play is definitely better. I think the Hydra play ground vehicle is better. So the Hydra ground vehicle play I think is better. The infantry and air play is probably slightly better from the CoGu team. But because the infantry play is better, it's jilting and tilting the other strengths of the Hydra team. They can't really apply their vehicles properly because, they have to stop, they have to come back, they need to use those people and those vehicles to help defend. Right, base is saved, now the vehicle should go. If you're Hydra now, maybe leave 1 guy, 1 max, whatever on the capture point.
Hey guys, this is Rob on roll call. 10 minutes remaining in the match, 10 minutes remaining now.
So you need a deployed Sunder to give you that spawn option back, or just make the enemy waste nanits when they come in to try and get rid of it. But here comes the push. Oh, check the Mag Rider flanking from behind. It's an ambush on the road.
Well, Sunday train coming down from the NC to join this fight here.
They're using the terrain really well here to just get out of line of sight. 2 Vanguards are down, 2 Magrat are still up, and now the 3rd Vanguard is going to go down. In come the Sunder vehicles.
Here comes the Sunday. The bridge isn't back. Oh, they got gate shield. It's okay.
They got the gate shield. It's actually quite impressive. I like that. Mines!
Yeah, tag mines.
I think this is max desperation.
The hard counter to a Sunday train.
So 2 Sunders made it inside, but you can't actually deploy on this area. The Air Force isn't here. The Reavers are staying back. They're with their other vehicles. This is a very sloppy... Like, individual vehicles are just getting picked off one at a time. If you're going to send your ground vehicles in, send your Air Force on top of the ground vehicles at the same time. Don't be individual.
Or at least have at least have the 2 sort of elements of the ground train together as well.
Yeah, and the Sunder's being chased. The Magrider ambush was really, really good. It basically picked off the Vanguards, and ground control, external, is still in the hands of the VS. NC's trying to push up, and it's kind of sort of working.
Turning night time, which will favour the VS.
Kind of, yeah. Oh, the vehicle terminal's hacked by the NC. And it's been hacked back. Deployed Sunder also directly outside the capture point is huge for the CoGu team. So the VS have got a couple of beacons, a couple of infantry coming in from the north. A free roaming Sunder, it's just getting pounded now by, again, the Magrider on the outside. He was trying to get rid of the 2nd deployed Sunder for CoGu, which is now down.
You see this is a good spot for an MBT, just floating around the outside of this horseshoe. Look, he's going to pick up this other Sunday here as well now, this Magrider. It's got a really good spot. This is always where they run their Sundays. Yeah, and it's spotted, and this guy's going to die.
This is proving to just be a bridge too far, if you will, for Hydra to push up. They're moving up, but their ground and their air don't seem to be working smoothly together.
This is now a really good time as well to send your infiltrator to backcap, because the NC are getting desperate now. They kind of have to bring everything and do it quickly.
There's nothing defending.
This is a really good
One
time.
guy, one heavy.
You can win the game with a cloaker here.
2 guys. Okay, so yeah, you got 2 guys defend the cap.
Oh, and actually there is a VS guy just arrived, but he went down.
Yeah, he has to fight 2 guys, so it's yeah. Well, what time you got? 7 minutes. It's getting desperate. There needs to be a cap in the next 3 minutes. Dude, if you are CoGu, keep the back hacks attempts going on. Defend the space for 3 minutes, 1 second. You win the game. It's that simple.
Absolutely, you win the tournament.
And desperation Galaxy.
Gal job. Oh yeah, it's semi-full.
That's super desperate though. Max is an infantry. It's doable. They will grab the capture point, right? I have no doubt about it.
How many are they going to lose on the way in? That's the question on the roof.
Well, they should be able to res and repair all the guys. Oh, double AV max on the AV man's on the ground. Sticky grenade on the guy.
Now they shouldn't panic here. The VS. They should keep this vehicle control of the courtyard. Don't need everybody.
So many people though. That was really sloppy by the 12 Hydra forces that pushed in there. They should have quite happily have gotten this. Yeah, they've cleared the building out now, but at what cost? Do they have any medics? They have a medic.
Dude, you need to. I mean, I don't know if it's basics or not, but you need to drop the doorway, not the roof. Like losing people on the roof, just drop on the doorway and you're in straight away.
Well, it was a desperate drop. Yeah, but the Galaxy essentially blew up as they dropped. They had to just go. You know, there was no health left in the gal.
You need to land at the door, not on the roof.
Oh, we got Archer engineers trying to get rid of the max as well.
And they have flipped. They have flipped Chimney Rock. Now, how long can he hold this? Actually, a couple of guys in here. Oh, there's a few. Oh no,
dude, it's gone down to 3 minutes though. It's a 60 seconds.
And they're racing up the road, the VS, to try and support this before.
So.
Hey guys, this is Rob on All Call. 5 minutes remaining in the match.
Hypothetically
well, there's a 10-second window.
Minutes.
Yeah,
there's a 10-second window that they have, which is non-existent.
This is how much Hydra has to do here to win, guys, or to even just to tie, to bring it to a tiebreaker. They need to fully secure this cap point for the next 35 seconds. Then once the cap point is secured, they need to flip the point in Hyoka Chemical within 10 seconds. Immediately, the 10-second window. And then it takes a time for the point to flip anyway. And then, oh man, check out the VS multipliers.
Yeah, I mean, they're desperately trying because they either want to die, they either want to get this or die. So they're just YOLOing, because if they die, they can respawn and they're back to defend.
NC needs somebody at the next point.
So it's either flip it or die, boys. Quickly, whatever you're going to do it fast.
There's no NC. In fact, the NC forces that were here, they've just been wiped out.
Well, I expect to see all the VS
Oh,
on that point
no. There's an info. There's an NC info in the cap point. He's being super stealthy.
They should have
guys,
people on
this is
already.
Rob on all call. 4 minutes remaining in the match.
They need to just pause this for
now.
Well.
4 minutes.
Oh my god, he's
flipping.
hiding.
If it goes purple,
he's
solid,
not going to
it's
flip.
over.
There's 4 purple
No,
here.
That's it. It's over. And CoGu
So
will be
desperately
the
trying to
champions.
book in. And the info's just sitting there. He's staying very quiet.
Doesn't matter now, they're flipping it, but yeah, they're not even going to get this anyway. There's loads of VS here.
Man, they don't even see him, dude. He's at the cap point.
I think that's probably the right result, to be fair. I did feel the VS actually had it. I did feel the VS were extremely unlucky in the first match against these two on Indar. I did feel actually in that match that through the game the VS had been the better team just fractionally, but they lost. So they got their revenge in the final.
Yeah, and the infiltrator's down. Alright, that's it. So CoGu knows they've won. And both teams are in their own respective bases. They're not necessarily fighting now because they know the outcome.
3 minutes remaining in the match now. 3 minutes.
Neither base can go through, so this is pretty much us now. Whether or not the teams choose to fight or we sit here in a circle jerk, it really just comes down to them.
I kind of feel like this is why the rules should be changed to allow the base caps to go through, because it makes these last 4 minutes just, well, farcical really.
Or you should just end it if a base can't be captured in time.
Yeah, or end it now. Yeah.
I'm not the rule maker.
No, I know.
Oh, I like the Mag Riders in a lightning standoff with some harassers and base fully saved, yeah. Are they choosing to attack at all? No, they're losing their Sunders on the outskirts.
This is Rob on all call. 2 minutes remaining in the match. Now, 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just reading in-game chat.
So, nice bit of symmetry as well that the 3 sort of renditions of this tournament have now gone NC, TR, VS.
And so, this is what kind of gets me, like, in terms of the gameplay that we've seen today, I feel, as I've already said, that the Hydra has a slightly, and I stressed slightly, better edge on the vehicles, but when it gets to the capture point or doing it, it kind of falls apart. And that CoGu has done some extremely good work with their smaller Mag Rider numbers. The Air Force kind of tied, but at the same time, we've seen the CoGu Air Force hornet the nutsacks of the vehicles for the Hydra Force, so that's definitely nice to them. But I think it's the ground infantry play that really tells the story here. The fighting in the cap point has just been better by the VS forces, and in this half, don't get us wrong, guys. The southern team got Chimney Rock, but Hydra lost it. You know, I feel that they shouldn't have lost it in the first place. They should have gotten it. It should be 1-1, not 2-1, if that makes sense.
But again, I didn't feel like. I mean, okay, when it gets to sort of 2 minutes and you think, oh, there's not that many VS around, it's easy to start jumping to conclusions and thinking that you know they run ragged and Hydra are all over the base. But on both occasions, it happened slightly differently in the second half. In the first half, effectively the air slowly got won, which then led to a ground infantry squad push to take the point. In the second half, the air slowly won again, but this time they actually
End
pushed
of match.
Well, it was
more
different.
vehicles.
They got dismantled.
To CoGu on winning the
And by the end of it,
2016
there was
LaneSmash tournament.
a load of vehicles
with a
on
final
point for
score of
VS. The air was in their
2-1.
control, and likewise in the first half. By the end
Please
of
can I
it,
have the team captains
the
join
air
me
was
on my
in
channel?
their
Thank you.
control, and there was infantry all over.
Yeah, no.
As
but
the point flipped.
The second half, they dismantled Hydra and then pushed their way in. I mean, it was very, very well done. The CoGu team. The first half, they had deployed Sundra and the infantry pushed, and it wasn't the same thing. But all I'm getting at is that on the 2-minute marker, Hydra had everything they could possibly want. They had vehicles flying in the air, they had ground vehicles surrounding the capture point, and they had heavy tanks, in support in the distance, as well as infantry maxes on the cap point. They had everything they could possibly want to hold it, but they allowed themselves to be systematically chipped away at to the point where.
Well, yeah, I mean
that
was the point at which the CoGu Air, who had been playing very conservatively for the first few minutes, came in, and
but the Reavers did nothing.
That's what the change was. But the
Reavers sat back and just allowed them to do it, and that's where I feel it wasn't necessarily CoGu playing really well. It was a Hydra just allowing them to play their game plan. Had the Hydra Air Force come in and then kind of at least disrupted them, you would have bought yourself the extra 30 seconds. Anyway, right, let's get our team captains in here. Have a little interview.
I think they're already here. I don't know if people joined.
Yes, hello guys.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations, Despot.
I'm Norrington. It's a 2-outfit
absolutely.
effort here.
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, we'll try and make this brief then, guys. If you guys are tired, congratulations, obviously, the victory. I'd like to talk about the first half, right? The opening play. From my viewpoint, you guys almost did symmetrical opening builds. Maybe, Despot, you want to explain why the 3 Mag Riders, what was the air group, why the 1 Galaxy, that type of stuff.
Well, we're afraid of Vanguards, so Mag Riders, to keep them busy, it's always good. The opening in the first half, we were lucky they weren't putting so many people in the forest. The forest was basically ours, just one harasser there. We regrouped in the forest, and from there we pushed. Sorry, I'm breaking out. Yeah, they didn't contest it at the forest at all. I was really surprised to not see stuff there.
Hydra, you got maybe a retort to that?
They dropped one guy at Aoka Chemical to flip the bridges and hack the vehicle terminal. We didn't plan to pull our Sunderers, our spawn Sunderers, for that fight immediately. We planned to do a couple of other jobs in the base first and then redeploy back and bring them up after we tried to push the Mag Riders back a little bit, and presumably there'd be less risk. And it seems that was a mistake because our spawns were somewhat delayed by that little tactic, which we should have seen really.
You got outspawned. That's the word.
But I mean, the whole match was lasting like 2 30-second spells, which were the last 30 seconds on both those chimney rock flips. It's very frustrating when it goes that way.
Me and Jolly were having a somewhat spirited discussion about the in the first half, how the spawn Sundra came in, because if you look at this map, the south, me and Jolly feel has the advantage here. So for you, Hydra,
Agreed.
to push from the north and to get external control of Chimney Rock, at least in the west, and then get the cap point, we figured, oh wow, this is unexpected. CoGu is maybe dropping the ball here because they should be getting it. But then obviously the CoGu Sundra comes in. A lot of people spawn, get max infantry, they push the capture point, and push Hydra off.
Comet Max Apocalypse.
Yeah, we had a cloak Sunday in the south of the base all the time. So we could push with Comet Maxes from there, and cut off everything from the west and blow up all the vehicles in the base.
So our basic idea was that the tactic that you used, Farah, against neutral bases, the info tactic, that became kind of a meta later in this tournament of you pull a lot of tanks with rep bus support and you just prevent any spawns getting there. We kind of figured if we did that, they'd get complete air control because they have better pilots than we do, but we have more pilots than they do. So we chose, instead of using tanks to do it, we'd use a much larger air force and a smaller number of vehicles and do it that way using quite a lot of Hornets. But it didn't work because they did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
We had like 20 USFs up, and
we used 15 in the opening. We dropped 5 guys on the point, 2 maxes, an engine, a medic, and an infiltrator. And we had, 3 vanguards and a red boss? Is that 24? Might be one off somewhere.
Yeah, we didn't put anything on the point from the start.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of felt like from the off the opener, the Charlie squad, the dedicated pilots from CoGu were very standoffish, and many other people were in sort of throwaways that aimed to be the vanguard of the air push or the opener, and to obviously to try and bring a few down, do whatever damage you can, and not necessarily designed to stay that long in the air, but ready for that spawn cycle for the sort of second phase of the opener, where you might be looking to push the point, for example. It was noticeable that well into the game and well past what I would define as the opener, all of the CoGu Charlie squad was still up and alive.
we lost our air squad, I think, in the second half a few times, and we noticed that getting air hammered for a few minutes it's painful, but for the entire match would have been catastrophic.
It didn't happen often. We really were restricted in use of ETA ground. It really didn't happen a lot because, I mean, it wasn't just, I mean, the pilots are excellent and, we were struggling there, but the AA as well. There were a lot of walker buses all over the place, so very tricky to deal with.
Well, speaking about the second half, right, guys? So, Hydra, you're coming from the south, and then CoGu from the north, and we saw that there was a much stronger presence this time on the forest on the east. You guys had that pretty much locked down. You got yourself on the capture point. You had multiplier Sunders, and then you had Reavers basically to the south of Chimney Rock. And then what I was saying to Jolly in the stream was that CoGu, when they couldn't get it right away, they kind of regrouped, and as we saw it, their air force chipped away at your Sunders that were on around the cap point. Their Mag Guiders came up, pushed off your vanguards, and then their ground vehicles pushed into the capture point and then stole the base on the 60-second marker. So kind of a rerun of the first half, but not just a YOLO spawn on the Sundra and charge the point. It was kind of like an extra thing.
It's the same idea. Just imagine the base like a big building, and vanguards like maxes. They got in first, but from outside we slowly in. I mean, inside the perimeter, and then.
Right.
I don't know, we got it.
But the question I want to ask...
Oh, go on, sorry.
The thing I wanted to ask the Hydras, what we saw, however, was the multiplier Sunders on the capture point, which was giving your infantry the edge on the capture point, this is for Hydra, was being attacked by scythes with hornets, and the base was around a minute 30, a minute 20. You still have 3 Sunders up, and they're being picked off slowly with their health. I looked to the south and I saw Tuma Skyline's battery, and there's like 6 or 7 Reavers just sitting there long range chipping away at the scythes. Was there a breakdown maybe with the air and the ground? Because I was like screaming at the stream, like, the Reavers need to come in, even if it's sacrificial, stop your guys getting bombed, keep those Sunders up, so that those Sunders can fight the pushing, CoGu Sunders, and you can keep the capture point for those precious seconds to grab the base. But they didn't move, and then once all the Sunders were lost, then the Reavers moved in, and I was like, oh no, the timing is just slightly wrong,
Yeah, there were no comments from the infantry squad about that, about being hit by air to ground. I mean, I did see it, and I got on a walker and tried to help, but yeah... our comms do need work. There are a couple of things I think we did poorly. Comms is certainly one, but regrouping. So after we'd lost the base, regrouping and counter pushing was disjointed and a bit disconnected. Didn't work properly. But I mean, I can't take it away from them. They were the better team by a narrow margin, admittedly, but they were the better.
Very narrow. It was really intense.
It was close. I mean, just quick question from me. After the VS took the Chimney Rock in the second half, who then quite a lot recalled to get vehicles and stuff, and ultimately that lost you the base. It took a little while, and it was a bit of a protracted fight over it. But Hydra eventually actually flipped that back, and for me there was a real argument to have just spawned. There were very few VS vehicles around at the time, so to have just got everyone spawned back onto Chimney Rock, and you could have just walked to the point and retaken it. But you know, there was such a hard fight over it to actually win it in the first place. There was not many NC left around the base, but the VS kind of pulled off to regroup and get vehicles for another push, and that actually allowed the NC to really entrench themselves much more than they were.
Towards the end of the second round, though, they played noticeably more defensive in that, you know, all they had to do was protect Heoka Chemical, which isn't the easiest cap on earth, and they've won the match, so it was all on us to attack. So I can see why they did that. It made life a lot harder for us, and we were getting more desperate. I mean, I guess that their focus at that point was to ensure of the win rather than saving one base.
Yeah, there was.
Well, no, I mean they owned it at the time. They owned it at the time, as I said. So they were. It's when they went 2-0 up. Sorry.
Yeah, but prepping the defense at Heoka Chemical meant that basically we had no possibility again. The way they used the Mag Riders there on either side of the bridge was devised by Satan.
That was cool. Evil. We saw that on the stream when you guys finally pushed up because there was harassment counter caps in the second half, and you were going for Heoka Chemical. You had two or three Mag Riders. We were having a little
discussion there in the vehicle squad, basically around if we push up, we're dead, but if we stay back, we've lost the match. So
yeah, because
it's such a good position for Mag Riders fighting over that crest in the ground. It's perfect for them.
Well, I guess you could, devil's advocate, you could say if you're pushing along the road, you can break off and then go directly north, so you don't go near the base and then flank around and give me a deployed Sunder on the north side. But we did catch that, the two Mag Riders coming into view and then just chipping away, and then you almost got the southern one burning and almost dead, but you obviously line of sight, two guys jumped out, started repping, kept the pressure up. It was a really, really evil, ambush. It was quite cool to watch.
Wasn't quite so cool to be on the receiving end of, but yeah, they did well with the Mag Riders. I killed 3 or so in the first round, but in the second I don't think I got one. They know how to Mag Ride.
You were playing in the vehicle squad.
Yeah, I find it easier to lead from vehicles. I usually just drive a rep bus around for 30 minutes.
I don't know, for me and I think for Norrington as well, we need to be on the point and see what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, all of our shot callers always used to be on the ground. Sure.
I need to be repairing maxes all match.
I need to max.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
No, anyway, it was a close game. You guys did well. So, as I said, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All your dudes did really well. And Hydra as well. Well played. It was a really close game, and you guys have looked really good through the whole tournament.
Only single outfit team there. I still think we've given a good accounting of ourselves, but a bit gutted.
I was giving more chances to a single outfit team than to a 2-outfit team, because I don't know, we haven't met that much with CSG. I don't know.
Depends how much you practice.
There's always sort of a difference in culture. Like whichever 2 outfits you take, there's always like a bit of friction, I guess, somewhere.
I think if you can field 24 people from the same outfit, that is the most logical choice. I think being from the same entity does give you an inherent advantage.
More good players and better players by merging outfits together.
Theoretically, yes.
I mean, neither of us could have fielded the 24-player team, so this was the only option for us.
That was the same for, I think, everyone else as well. Because you don't just need 24 people, you need like 36, because not everyone play on certain days and all that type of stuff. And herding cats to get them to practice.
Pilots, that's a pain.
Yeah.
Most unreliable people in PlanetSide.
Okay, cool guys. So we're going to let you go. Congratulations again. Go have a party, enjoy. I think me, Jolly, and Robertino will just have a little post chat here. Anything you want to say to each other before we end this 2016 sort of LaneSmash tournament?
Congratulations to Hydra. And when is Server Smash starting, Farah?
That's what we're going to talk about. I don't know. We'll see. We've got some upcoming games.
Well, for me, Server Smash is still the best experience in PlanetSide.
I have one more thing I would like to say. Well, first of all, of course, GG to Hydra. It was a very, very tough match, very close and well played. And as well, thanks to Rob for stepping up and taking over the mess that was the organization of this tournament. Like, thank you for that.
Yeah,
it was my pleasure.
Yeah, well said. Well done, Robert. Yeah.
GG to all my guys. They played brilliantly. We did fantastic. I think that we probably had a slightly worse team than them, to be honest, and to hold it pretty equal, I'm very proud of them. They're brilliant.
Well,
Make me look good.
The first match against you was pretty scary, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm happy it didn't turn into a tiebreaker this one.
Well, yeah. I'm sure we'll talk
neutral
about it.
Base off the start is just so much more logical for me. But...
Cool. Well, anyway, we'll leave you guys be. Robertino and myself will just jump channel, and then we'll just have a kind of
have a nice
chat for
evening.
everyone else.
Okay,
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
We should kick them, or should we ban them?
Let's kick them.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Right, so I guess this is an impromptu... No, bring Jolly back.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so this is an impromptu end of stream now chat, guys, between us and the stream. So...
First question, actually,
Yes.
I think it's from the Kosovan. Before we finish the stream, can you talk whether you guys will organise another LaneSmash? I think another LaneSmash tournament is definitely on the table if the outfits are interested in it.
Tournament, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah,
I'd like to see more American teams maybe taking part.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely on the table. We have the ability to organise it, and we're definitely prepared to do it as long as teams can field 24 guys and such.
I think so. Like for me, I was very hands off on the LaneSmash this season because I was like, certain base smash and server smash. It's like I don't really want to deal with LaneSmash. Let someone else do it. You know what I mean? And I think moving forward, a lot of the rough around the edges rule sets, like the end of gameplay, you either end it if they can't capture a base or let them play an overtime type mechanic. So if the base is under contention, it plays until the contention is over type of thing. Something along those lines, so you don't have this dead space that it has. We'll definitely take that into consideration, guys. And then maybe a refinement of the rules and the lanes and the setups, and a refinement of ties and tiebreakers and that type of stuff. And we'll probably, me, you, Robert, and some other people will come up with a more improved rule set. And then we'll post that out for consultation with outfits, and then maybe do a kind of a general sign-up type thing, and maybe we'll do another lane season again. Maybe we'll do it later this year, maybe, sometime September, October onwards. But on top of that, what about challenges, Robert? Let's say one outfit wanted to challenge another outfit just to a straight-up game. We could do that as well, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. If the teams want it to be casted and streamed, then yeah, we can totally advertise
MCY versus CoGu. Is that what you're saying?
Does anyone still play from MCY?
Dude, I could get 24 people tomorrow.
Okay. So that's one. That answers the LaneSmash question, guys. Yes, we want to do more of these. Yes, we think they're fun. However, LaneSmash will probably stay what it is, but as the construction system gets more and more developed, like you may have noticed, B Burns was talking about the more recent vehicle spawns and spawn tube options for construction. We're thinking of radically kind of revamping. And the other really cool thing is here. Let me show you. Is if I find some daylight, is the really cool dev gun. Where's my warp gate? Dev gun. So this little gun that we're holding right here, this is the key game changer right now that the devs set up. We can spawn different core team. You've already probably seen this if you look at Reddit. It gets really, 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 really big veins. Anyway, so there you go. So different sizes of core and veins, different amount. The point is we can seed a lane so that teams have resources. And with the extra construction buildings that the devs have been making, it means that we can have vehicle terminals, so we don't have to have an adjacent base for vehicle stuff. We can have an air terminal. So we have some really cool ideas, me and Rob. We're looking at, for example, the Esmir ice flow between the bridges and, seeding resources and whatnot. So the base smash thing is going to come back. We're going to do base smash number 2. It's probably going to be in a couple of weeks because we need to get 2 teams again and all that type of nonsense. So anyway, that's one thing that we're talking about. The other looming question is Server Smash, as Despot was asking. What's going to happen with Server Smash? Well, on August the 6th, Emerald is doing a internal Smash. So that's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Emerald's doing an Emerald game. So you can watch that. That'll be streamed. And I'll be casting that. And that's on the 6th/7th of August. which I think is that next week, Rob?
A
Sometime
bit
next
more
week.
away than that.
It's next week. No, it's next
Next,
week.
next weekend, yeah.
Yep, and then the week after that, I think on the 14th of August, will be a Miller Internal Smash. I won't be streaming that one because I'll actually be playing that as a sort of assistant, just squad leader. But that'll be in a Miller Internal Smash, and I imagine someone will be streaming and casting it. So that's 2 Server Smash games coming up back to back. And then I believe there is talk of a Cobalt Emerald Server Smash. Am I right by saying that? In the works?
I've heard rumours. I'm really not too sure though. I'd just like to clarify one thing: the Emerald Server Smash, it will be on the 7th of August instead of the 6th. But if you guys want dates and final times, just keep an eye on the PlanetSide Battle subreddit, and we should update everything there.
Are you sure it's on the? So they're actually playing at 9 p.m. on the Sunday, their time?
I don't know. OVO
No.
says 7th.
From what I read on the forums and on the Reddit, it's 9 p.m. on the Saturday, which means that if you're talking by UTC, it's Sunday.
There's the confusion.
That's why
okay.
the confusion's there. Yeah. So guys, it's Sunday 9 p.m. Eastern time, but it's like 2 a.m. UK time, right? So that's the Emerald game. With regards to future smashes, currently it's really a case of guys get together, challenge each other, or decide you want an internal smash. We'll get the accounts, we'll do the stream and all that type of stuff if you want it casted, and that's the current format of what we're doing at the moment. In terms of a tournament, honestly, I don't feel there is a stomach for it. Like, we had 5 teams. I'm not sure Briggs can field, if we're being honest, 240 people again, or 192 people. I'm not sure Connery wants to do it. There'll be some people on Connery that want to do it, but not enough to field a team, and they're not going to enjoy losing again and again and again. Sorry, Connery, but that's probably what's going to happen, at least, with the numbers and the playstyle that's currently there. What might happen is we might have like a 3 teams, so we might have a Europe and a US and a Briggs, or we might have Cobalt, Miller, and the US team, Emerald and Friends, and then so Emerald could play with, Briggs and Connery as an example. And then if you have 3 teams, you can do a sort of a very simple round robin type style of game format, and then the top 2 teams play in a kind of a final thing. That could be done in a very short period of time, and that's plausible. But I think the first thing we're waiting on is seeing how the new construction system works with the extra additions, and seeing how these next 2 internal smashes go, what the general appetite is. Because we would love to do a server smash where we use the construction system, we use the victory points along with territory control, but it's just not quite there yet. Getting it right, getting it working, making a 3 sided map into a 2-sided playoff. There's complications with victory points and all that type of stuff. So in the meantime, we're going to have 2 smashes with a potential 3rd, Cobalt Emerald, and then I'll start testing the water, seeing if we get maybe like a mini sort of server smash tournament 3-way team, maybe a Cobalt Miller or Cobalt Miller and Emerald type setup. That's where we're at the moment, and it's not necessarily server teams. You can bring in players from other things, because the objective here is just to have fun, right? So it doesn't mean that an Emerald team is only Emerald players. They could get some from Briggs, because I don't know if Briggs can field a full team, or they can get some from Connery and that type of stuff. So I think that answers where we are at the moment. That's where my kind of gut feeling is at the moment. My focus in the immediate future is doing the upcoming server smashes, which is being organised mainly by the server reps, and getting base smash number 2 off the ground, what with the latest updates. And we'll see about the more advanced server smash games later in the year. We'll get around to it. I think that's about it, really. I don't have anything else to say, Jolly, or Robert. You guys got anything you want to say to these guys?
Not that I can think of. Just keep an eye on Reddit, and any information will pop up there.
Yeah, just that it's been fun casting the games. I've actually been lucky to commentate on some of the better ones, I think, actually. And it's been a good tournament. It's good to see the enthusiasm. I would urge outfits or groups of people out there to, if another season does appear, to get involved. It's a really fun format of PlanetSide. And other than that, no. Good night.
Cool.
Okay, thanks for casting, Jolly.
That's us, guys. So thank you very much for watching. We're done. We're going to head off. If you want another stream, you can stream next week, because like I said, we have the server smash next week. If you want to stay up late, stay with me. We'll be late night. We'll watch Emerald beat itself to death. It'll be hilarious. And there'll be the middle one after that. Nothing really else to say. So thank you very much. That is the end of LaneSmash for now. To recap, CoGu is the Vanu Sovereignty, won against Hydra as the new conglomerate. And we're done. Goodbye, guys.
Thank you.